Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to change the landscape of podcasting as you know it in professional wrestling. This is the Game Changer Podcast. Featuring the greatest asset to come out of Canada, the legendary Mr. Fretz.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
I love myself. There's something so condescending to the champ to get out of my ring.
They think they got the answers. I change the questions.
I did it all by my sweet little self. Two-time Slammy Award winner. I knew it. I'm a winner. I did it. Woo!
As well as featuring yours truly, the Game Changer, NateFNGreat.
I've had it. It's time for you to start listening to somebody else, and that somebody else is going to be me, and it's going to be right now.
The dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you.
You're not going to come out here and talk about how it should have been you, it should have been me, it should have been you, it should have been you, it should have been you, it should have been you 8 years ago, and it was kind of, then it wasn't, and it's not going to be again, and it's not going to happen. Just get over it.
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even in commentary. Nobody can touch me.
We change the game one day at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, let's do this.
What is going on, everybody? This is King Ricky Rose, your general manager of Wrestle Addict Radio and host of Kings of the Rings podcast. And you right now are listening to Nate, the effing great, and our resident historian, Mr. Fretz, on the Game Changer podcast exclusively on Wrestle Addict Radio.
He's back! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this more than likely emotional edition of the Game Changer podcast, a part of Wrestle Addict Radio. Follow them at addict_wrestle. You can check out our great people over there. Not only us, the Game Changer podcast, but also the Young Lions Perspective, as well as the Kings of the Rings podcast. Check them out. It's really awesome. I am indeed Nate the effing great. The changing of the game is created by moi, yours truly. And where would I be without our resident Twitter extraordinaire all the way up in Canada, and one of the greatest experts to come out of Canada itself, the one and only Mr. Fretz.
It is I, the rated R blooper star, Mr. Fretz. Yeah, that's good to do when I'm kind of feeling a little bit on the ill side. Yes, folks, it is me. It is Mr. Fretz, I'll say the fourth or fifth greatest wrestling personality to come out of Ontario. That would be after Edge, Christian, Bobby Roode. Hey, you know what? I grew up an hour away from him. Test. God rest his soul. Yes, it's me, folks. It's Mr. Fretz at the legendary JF. And before we go any further, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to those who have messaged myself this week. Some of you know the other night my aunt passed on. She had many health problems over the past few years. Kicked cancer's ass, kicked kidney problems ass, and you never know when you're going to go. So it's sad, but we got to reconnect over Facebook and that the past few years. She learned how to text, she learned how to Facebook. It was rad to catch up with her. So I'm doing fine. If you were the praying type and all that, I would send out those vibes towards my cousin and my uncle. So much appreciated, folks.
Definitely, and we're glad that you are doing well, Fretz. And again, nothing but more positive thoughts, prayers, feedbacks, everything going your way and your family's way. And while we're on the subject, we also want to give our condolences as well as our positive thoughts, prayers, and everything that you can to the families of Kobe Bryant, as well as the families that were affected by the tragedy that took place this past weekend. It is horrific what has indeed happened, and Kobe Bryant is going to be sorely, sorely missed, along with his daughter. It's a really rough time, because this is one of those times where it's great to have everything that took place at the Royal Rumble weekend. Trust me, we're going to get into that. But to have this, honestly a national, even a worldwide tragedy happen, it's one of those things that is just so hard to overlook. But the best thing that we can do is, I really hate to say it, but the best thing to do is to not so much harp on the negative, but more focus on the positives. The things that Kobe Bryant brought to basketball will be forever remembered, and same thing goes for everybody else that was affected by this deal. So again, thoughts and prayers, everything that we can do to send your way to the families that were affected by what took place on Sunday, I believe it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Kobe's going to go down as probably in the top 10, top 5 basketball players of all time. I'm not much on basketball, but, of course I watched the NBA playoffs this year because the friggin' Raptors won the whole thing, so why wouldn't I watch? But, yeah, King Ricky did a very poignant tribute to Kobe and the Kings of the Rings podcast, and I couldn't put it better than he did. And one thing that I caught from that is to thoughts and prayers are you have to be more proactive. Like I'm a Christian, so I'll take thoughts and prayers, but take it literally. But you also have to be proactive, and he's like, Kobe was all about trying to be better. Like, he had beef with Shaq for a while, and then he buried the hatchet, and and Shaq even said that if you got any beef, just fuck it, bury the hatchet, get to it, and it's it's real sad, and everyone that was involved in the tragedy, and his 13-year-old that sucks. That's unfair. That's young, and she was the person that kind of got Kobe back into basketball after he retired. As Ricky already said this morning as we're recording, it's Thursday night. I listened this morning. It was and seeing his daughter Gianna, I forget. I'm sorry, I forget the name. Was getting into basketball and going to WNBA games, and Kobe was going to be a ambassador for the sport and an ambassador for women's basketball, and it's it sucks. God rest his soul. And this was one meme I thought kind of put a smile on my face, that you had Kobe looking out of a crowd of people, and he makes eye contact with the camera, and that's like him making eye contact with Wilt Chamberlain in heaven, ready to go one-on-one. Damn.
Damn right. So, like you said, to be proactive, and the thing is that the show must indeed go on, and that's what we're going to do. But we will be doing this in the memory of Kobe Bryant and all the people that were affected by this tragedy. So, we're going to kick things off, you guys, with one of our new segments that we actually did last week, and that was, What Did I Listen to This Week? It's a working title, whatever. So, last week we actually did do some plugs, as well as a lot of discussions about some of the podcasts that we listened to this past week. I started off the ball for this one, so I think it's only fair that my co-host, Mr. Fretz, you start the ball. What did you listen to or even watch this past week in podcasting or just in general?
Well, in podcasting, I have ones that I always listen to every week, and it's, Wrestle Addict Radio, it's The Rant, it's Something to Wrestle With, and one that I forgot to mention was one called 30-20-10. It has hosted by Chris Antista, Diana Goodman, and Sarah, who never gives her last name on the show. They go every week. Say this is January 26th to February 1st. 30, 20, and 10 years ago in entertainment. So it's movies, TV shows, video games, and whatnot. And they'll always play some movie trailers, react to them. TV trailers talk about, 30 years ago would have been the first season of The Simpsons. So they'll talk about that. And then in 2010, they'll talk about, what episode of Parks and Rec was on, and random movies. And they play a little trivia at the end of the show. And it's the who died and then who, during this time and who was born in this time. So it's a birthday quiz, and they play the birthday song from home. It's a cartoon called Home Movies. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Sounds interesting. I don't know if I'm too familiar with it.
Yeah, but it's a weirdo. It's like a birth. Look it up. Home Movies birthday song. H. John Benjamin, a.k.a. Sterling Archer, is a voiceover on that show. So, and Bob's from Bob Burgers. Shout out to that.
Oh, nice.
And that's where I got the idea. That's where I basically ripped off the 20 Bell Salute. That's what it's kind of inspired by. Antista, please don't sue. And then they're part of the Laser Time Network, so they'll have shows like Laser Time and Video Game Apocalypse, and they've been wrapping up a top games of the decade, like a 3-part, 2.5-hour each podcast I haven't gotten to yet. And as usual, Who Got Next, Fourth Wall, Popcast, let's see what else, Steve Dangle, hockey as well. Cultaholic this week had the classic SmackDown review, which was the SmackDown after the Test and Stephanie wedding that got Triple H'd. And they're and Test at this point in time should have been hanging Triple H's balls off the ceiling, and he's not doing anything. And they're Matthew and Tom Campbell are making fun of his booking. The King of the Ring watch along, King of the Ring '94 watch along was hilarious to listen to. You had Justin Henry, Tom Campbell, and John Eiley, who is Cultaholic's Photoshop guy. So if you go to his Twitter page, you'll see all these wacko Photoshop jobs that the guys always ask him for. So they'll be talking about something, picturing something like, something, Chris Benoit in a sombrero. John? And then he'll say his own name, like, imagine if this happened. Wait, John? It's like, get on it, Photoshop that, but it's really funny. Like, I put over Cultaholic all the time, so there's that. After the Bell, I haven't gotten to this one yet, but there was an episode with Ronda Rousey, Santino Marella, and MVP.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I was out for my walk today when I was listening to the Kings of the Rings. The earphones that came with my iPhone, well, only one side works now, so... Oh, no. I used up my Amazon gift card for Christmas, so it's going to be here on Monday. Cool. Get a new pair. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the Young Lion's perspective, although I didn't get to his episode today, and, those are the ones that I usually listen to. I didn't get to Office Ladies, although I would love to. It's a great one. It has Pam and Angela from The Office, and they go through each episode of the show.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's very good. And that's the gist of my podcasting listening this week. I actually recorded something for the 20 Bell Salute.
Okay.
I watched No Way Out 2000, and I got to the Cactus Jack Triple H Hell in the Cell match. And I did a watch along with that. So that'll be dropping in the next couple of weeks on the Patreon.
Awesome. Looking forward to hearing that. Looking forward to seeing that. Guys, definitely, if you want to support us and if you do believe that we do deserve little bit more credit than what we're getting, definitely go over to our Patreon, and it's only going to be $5 just to sign up for this. There's no tiers, no restrictions, no nothing like that, just $5 whole just to sign up for that. You get exclusive content from us, the Kings of the Rings, as well as the Young Lions perspective, and trust me, February is going to be a very, very busy month for us, so you definitely do not want to miss out on that. I know that Love and War has been definitely rumored for February. It's going to be on Valentine's Day weekend, which is also going to be the one with SoCal Val and myself, Kate and Ricky. I might have a beef with you. But I also will be doing a How I Would Have Wrote It for the Women's Revolution. So the startup for that. So that's going to be posted up on that. Maybe I'll get another video or maybe even like another recording or something in there in a month. But that's just my plan so far for that. Fretz mentioned, the 20 bell salute. It's a lot of awesome stuff. Definitely check it out. It's on our Patreon, only $5. Definitely do not miss out on that. So as far as like the stuff that I listened to this week, it was actually a little less proactive than what it was last week. This week I got the chance to listen to, of course, our friends over at the Kings of the Rings. Really good show, and that, like Fretz said at the beginning of the show, King Ricky does a fantastic tribute to Kobe Bryant. I will say this, that once we get into our Royal Rumble review, I will be nitpicking some things that Will said that actually kind of irritated me just a little bit. And also, it's one of those episodes where I was pretty sure that Ricky and Will made Kate Murphy almost cry about 3 times, because there was a couple moments where you could hear in her voice, her just starting to break down a bit. It's like, better not make her cry. I will come over there and I will whoop both your asses. Anyway, so there was that. I'm kidding, of course. They're just messing around, although they could probably lay off a little bit of the Dave references. Just saying, that's just me. Another thing that I enjoyed was those wrestling girls. They had an Alicia Fox perspective on their YouTube deal, and it was really well done. It's one of those things where I'm glad that they do that, because it does make you appreciate a lot of these women a lot more. And honestly, I did not realize how big of an impact Alicia Fox had on the company until they basically spelled everything out. They mentioned her being, in the WWE CW, her time as a Divas champion, and all of her involvements in so many different things. It's just really great. I can't do it justice. Go check it out, and go check out those wrestling gals. They are just absolutely phenomenal. Shout out to them. They are absolutely great. And of course, I also got the chance to listen to a different podcast this week. I was listening to the Ruthless Aggression podcast, in which they were covering Backlash 2003. Gee, I wonder why we covered that, why I listened to that one. Well, I mean, it could have been for a particular moment that made me and Fretz laugh until we almost peed ourselves. Let's just put it like this. You'll never... When it comes to catfights, you'll never hear a more ridiculous catfight than the one you hear in this podcast. Just saying. Yes, just saying. So I listened to that. I will say this, that sometimes they get a little bit off track, and at first it seems like, I don't know how much I'm going to really be interested in it. Once they get the ball going, though, it definitely does keep your interest into the review. So definitely give it time, and you will definitely see them get the ball rolling, and they will definitely have your attention. It's really fun, and it's just a really cool podcast to listen to. I'm looking forward to listening to future podcasts, but I had to listen to the Backlash one because of just that particular reason. And honestly, as soon as I heard it coming, I was like, here we go. Yep, here it is. I'm still laughing. just awesome. I'm trying to think if there was any other... Oh, I also do have to talk about the rant. These guys, of course, we plug them as much as we can. They are just absolutely phenomenal. And hell, by the time we're doing this, they've already got their new batch of merch ready to go. So definitely buy some of their merchandise when you got a chance. Also, I think you should definitely retweet one of their tweets that they had where they said, when you think about the show, what kind of comes to mind? For me, it's just, Rant is awesome, Kyle is shiny, Brad is Brad, to say the least. I would have sworn at him, but it's like, well, Ant already does the swearing at Brad all the time, so I can't really do that. I can't take his gimmick, let's face it. So definitely check out the Rant. It's awesome. Every other podcast that Fretz has mentioned, definitely check it out. He would not be mentioning them if they were not worth listening to, so definitely take advantage of that. So, all right. We got roughly about 10 minutes, so let's just do a quick review on AEW as well as NXT, and then we'll take a break. Then we'll go into the rest of the show. So I'll quickly start off with AEW. Moxley cut a promo at the beginning of the show. I gave it 2 thumbs up because it was one of the best promos that I've heard, especially when he got the Ohio crowd with him. He had a brawl with the Inner Circle. That kind of ended that. We see the Young Bucks beating the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. I kind of didn't like that because the fact was Butcher and Blade definitely deserve a little bit more momentum going their way, but they were also hired by MJF, so I guess they kind of have to give some momentum to Cody or something like that. Oh, speaking of which, next week they're going to be doing the 10 Lashes deal. Oh gosh, I'm not looking forward to that because when we start talking about Royal Rumble, the strap match is going to be one of those things where I'm going to kind of cringe at just a little bit. Nyla Rose defeated Big Swole. She's kind of looking to be the number 1 contender against Rio, which I think is honestly a pretty good idea. Cody, I literally have in my notes, Cody kills Kip Sabian with 3 crossroads. So yes, Cody wins, but he just hit him with like 3 crossroads at the end of the matchup just to send a message to MJF. All 3 of them were brutal, and it was just freaking fantastic. But I also said, I'm pretty sure Kip Sabian's dead. I have not heard from Kip Sabian, so I think that kind of confirms my theory. SCU defeated TH2, the Hybrids, I think were called. It's the new name for Angelico and Jack Evans. And in the main event, we had the Inner Circle defeating Private Party and Darby Allin. Absolutely fantastic main event. Also, shout out to the Ohio crowd because they were singing along with Chris Jericho's theme song as they were doing on the Jericho Cruise. Still loving it. Still think it's one of the best things. I'm going to be recording when Jericho comes out during the main event because I want to hear how the Chicago crowd does at AEW Revolution. So, for those who are curious, yes, I will be in Chicago for AEW Revolution. Definitely hit me up if you want to meet up. We will definitely plan something. And just have fun at the event. That's the way it is. Also, fingers crossed, hopefully I can meet Cody the day after at C2E2 because, well, I need to have some souvenir leaving AEW. Although I might need to get a souvenir from my co-host again if I'm going to an AEW event. Just saying. I'm that nice of a guy. So, AEW, pretty good show. Now, of course, I will say this, that Kate Murphy made a comment about how AEW didn't even come close to this weekend. Well, it's Royal Rumble. It's like one of the best events of the entire year. It's going to be hard to top, especially when we go into talking about that. But we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, Mr. Fretz, you're on the floor. What happened in NXT this week?
Pardon me for a second while I get
a little bit of the watery.
Little bit of the water. No, I didn't have bubbly, but I did make a hot toddy with whiskey earlier on, so that suited things up. So we had a match here, Finn Balor versus Trent Seven. This was kind of stemmed off from their confrontation at Worlds Collide, where, was it Finn? I think he jumped Tyler Bate backstage, and then Trent Seven got in his face, and then they had a backstage or parking lot brawl where Finn Balor slammed the car door in friggin' Trent's head, and then kind of like held his throat on the above, the door above the window part, or in the window, I don't know, but it looked pretty fierce. And Trent Seven chopped the shit out of Finn Balor's chest. This match was stiff. I mean, it was like Balor and Dragunov. Dragunov broke Balor's nose, so you still saw it was kind of bruised looking. Trent Seven chopped the crap out of him, but Finn Balor just smashed him. Like, shotgun dropkick, coup de grace, 1916, that was it. Very quick match, but, Balor gave a nice little shine to Trent Seven. Deonna Purrazzo wrestled Shotzi Blackheart next. We had Shotzi came out the ring in a friggin' tank, in like a little tank.
What's
It looked like a go-kart that got transformed into a DX tank. She had like the spiky helmet on. She looked like friggin' if Bowser was a girl, basically. It was awesome. Purrazzo came out, had some good technical offense here, but Blackheart hit a really nice diving senton. Not a swanton, but like a Dick Togo senton bomb off the top for the win. Very, very good here that we had. Keith Lee interview where he was talking about, hey, who wants a shot at the North American title? Out comes Damian Priest.
Ooh.
Out comes Dominik Dijakovic.
Ah.
And then there's a moment where Keith Lee's just like, he doesn't say it, was like, hey, you know what? Peace out, just leaves. Referee comes out. So we get Damian Priest versus Dijakovic, and this was a really good match. So this is going to probably be at Portland. And, Dijakovic wins with the Feast Your Eyes. What's his name? Priest. I keep trying to call him Punishment Martinez, but Priest gets a bunch of offense in himself, but Dijakovic comes out on top, and we're going to see Lee and Dijak again. Yes, please. Just right in my veins. And what we have next, Tommaso Ciampa stakes his claim for Goldie, so he comes out to the ring. He lays out Roddy Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish backstage with the steel pipe. He comes out to the ring with a table and spray paints an X in the middle of the table saying, Adam Cole, this is for you. I'm going to powerbomb you through this table, and, I'm going to bring up the contract, and we're going to sign a match for Portland. Regal comes out with the contract, and Adam Cole's just like, no. What, basically, I'm the champion. I don't deserve this, blah, blah, blah. Powerbomb through the table, but Adam Cole jumped him, right, with the belt and busted Ciampa's head open. Ooh. So then the crowd was chanting, sign with the blood. And shout out to Izzy was in the crowd that night. She had a really cool picture with Pete Dunne on our Instagram. Really, really well done. It's like Pete Dunne's like fake biting her finger or breaking her finger or something. She's taken off. She's gonna be awesome, man. I'm looking forward to seeing where she goes. She's already like doing stuff in the not performing, but she's just at indie shows all the time.
She's getting that indie money, hun.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like, apparently her parents are really cool. I'd like to meet all those folks. So yeah, we got a powerbomb through the table, and then a little bit of blood from the head on the contract. Portland, we're getting Gargano. Oh my gosh, Ciampa and Cole. Oh boy.
Well, we're getting Gargano and Balor, but we're not getting Gargano and Ciampa just yet. I mean, I think we're still like in that same frame of mind that we're getting Gargano and Ciampa after WrestleMania weekend.
SummerSlam, Boston.
I'm okay with
calling
that.
It.
I'm okay with that.
Calling that now. Yeah. So next we had Dakota Kai versus Tegan Nox, and oh my goodness, Dakota Kai is like my favorite female on NXT. I love that she had the friggin' heel turn on repeat on her Titantron, because Tegan came out and then out came Dakota Kai, so they replayed the heel turn like 8 times. It was glorious. There was a spot where they were gonna get almost disqualified for using weapons because this is a brawl around the ring. They got back in. Candice LeRae got involved, which allowed my goodness, Tegan to use the brace and to hit the shiniest wizard for the win. This feud is just getting started. I can't wait for Dakota Kai to get her win back and smash Tegan's face in with a knee brace. Send her back on the shelf. Oh, that Nakatomi Plaza hair, I love it. We're going to get a match with them at Portland if it's not already signed. Chelsea Green with Robert Stone, whoever that is.
Robbie E, man. That's Robbie E.
Oh, yeah. I was looking like, who is this nerd? He looks like Jameson from the 92 Royal Rumble. He's one, like, piece of tape around his glasses and, like, a snot nose away from being Jameson. So, it was Chelsea Green versus Caden Carter. Really good match. Chelsea Green stopped an Uri Fleury from Caden Carter, but Chelsea Green got really cocky and Caden rolled her up for the upset win. Small package. Very odd segment. Chelsea Green and Caden are both relatively new. Caden hasn't had a win yet on NXT, so this was really good to see. But over Chelsea Green, who's also debuting, I'm not sure. Robert Stone tweeted something like, "Oh, I got a big announcement coming for the Robert Stone Initiative." Is like, okay, well, whatever that's going to be. If it's going to be another person, I don't know. And then the Dusty Cup final, the Grizzled Young Veterans versus the Broserweights, and I was convinced. I even put out a poll with all three answers basically being yes of, is Pete Dunne going to turn heel tonight? And I put yes, bro, and bro, which all mean yes. And it didn't happen. The Broserweights won the Dusty Cup in a fierce, stiff match. Like, I love the Grizzled Young Vets. These are like stiff British boys. Phrasing. They're just fantastic. This was a match that went all over the place, in and out of the ring. Ticket to Mayhem was a near fall, and I don't know what we would call the Broserweights finisher, but it was kind of like a bitter end into a knee, I think. But yeah, they won the Dusty Cup. They're the number one contenders facing Red Dragon, aka Undisputed Era, at Portland. And this is, a bit of redemption from last year, because Pete Dunne went to the finals last year as well with Roddy Strong, and we all know what happened there. So I think, Riddler Dunne won the Dusty Cup, not what I predicted. Gibson and Drake are a fantastic team, so I think they can head back to the UK and tear it up there again. Maybe have another title run, but I think Imperium are going to be the next tag team champions in NXT UK. So this is a very good episode of NXT. I didn't get to watch AEW yet, but maybe I'll watch one of those recap videos. It sounded like a pretty fun show.
It really was. So, alright. Let me just get this situation taken care of. There we go. Alright. We're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about the weekend, which was Royal Rumble weekend, which featured an epic takeover in disguise, from what King Ricky said. And honestly, I'm going to say this right now. When he said takeover in disguise, the first thing that came to my mind was the Transformers theme song. I was trying to think of like some kind of lyric that would work with a takeover theme to it. It's a work in progress still. So we got that takeover, aka Worlds Collide. Going to be also talking about Royal Rumble, and I'm also going to be discussing Frontline Pro, which I got the chance to watch on Saturday because of some sad circumstances. But we'll get more into that a little bit later on. So guys, stay tuned. Be right back.
This is your pool party captain, Randy Fitzsimmons, and you're listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Pew pew!
Let's face it, folks. I can be in some better shape, and this year, I'm going to make a commitment to it. My name is King Ricky Rose, General Manager of Wrestle Addict Radio, and I want you guys to join our Patreon and follow me and my fellow constituents on our journey into better mental and, more importantly, better physical health. Join us in our journey to get back into ring shape, where each episode we will tell you about our progress on the matter and what a ring shape really means to us. So join patreon.com/Wrestle Addict Radio, click subscribe, and just for $5 a month, you can follow our journey as we get back into ring shape. Now enjoy the rest of your show.
Hey everyone, it's the Princess of Pro Wrestling, SoCal Mal. You are listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Sending lots of love from California. Mwah.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That is indeed the theme song of the one and only Charlotte Flair, who we will be talking about very heavily very soon. I'm NateFNGreat. This is Mr. Fretz. We are going to talk about, first, the events that took place on Saturday, that being when Worlds Collide as well as Frontline Pro's event that took place there. I got a lot to say about that. So for that, unfortunately, the reason why I went there was because I had to cancel. Actually, no, my date at the time had to cancel taking care of something with her dad. It wasn't anything serious. It was actually more working on her truck. And I decided, you know what? I'm feeling a little down. I'm feeling a little out. So I'm going to go to an independent wrestling show because it seems like wrestling is something that will keep me happy. And by this time the weekend was over, I had a Cheshire Cat grin from ear to ear. And I will say this: the first thing that happened when I got to the show, was the owner, Ben McCoy. He came up to me and he said, "Well, this sure beats date night, doesn't it?" Oh man! Shout out to Ben. You're absolutely awesome, and you did make my weekend. But before we get into that, I think we have to talk about the other event that took place. That being NXT Takeover. Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry. When Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide. I'm sorry. I'm used to it being a certain way, okay? You can't just change this thing on the fly. That's just me. Alright, so I'm going to pass this over to my good friend, Mr. Fretz, because unfortunately I did not get a chance to watch it, but I've heard nothing but positive things about it. So hopefully, Mr. Fretz, if you could shed a little bit of light on what took place on this event.
Oh, yes, we had Worlds Collide. I'm used to calling it Worlds Collide because that is a Power Man 5000 song. If you get who they are, can of Coke. So we started off in the pre-show with Mia Yim versus Kaylee Ray. This was a pretty quick match, but we had a couple of good spots where there was a nice DDT by Mia Yim, a gory bomb that was reversed into the Code Blue, which was an awesome spot, and then Kaylee Ray just wins with a roll-up. She hit an Eat Defeat, so I think she would have been pressing A and B on No Mercy, because I believe that Eat Defeat is Mia's finisher. So that was a good spot. That was a good win. And then into the main show, we had one match I was really looking forward to, and that's Ilya Dragunov versus Finn Balor. Ilya Dragunov is my pick to dethrone Walter for the UK title eventually. Although I don't think it's going to happen until 2021. Walter's going to have a beast run. He has to. So we had... Oh, excuse me. False alarm sneeze. There we go. We had huge heat for Dragunov here for the Russian. Dallas. The Cold War's... Houston. The Cold War's over, guys. Come on. Show a little love. He was booed out of the building. Finn Balor got a big pop, despite the fact this is a two-heel match. Finn was dominating. This was really physical with lots of slaps and chops on each other. They were trading blows and chops and whatnot, and Finn Balor broke his nose, so Dragunov hit him pretty stiff. And, Finn was all about, you better not miss. He said that when he was lifting up Dragunov for the 1916 and the win. And then when they interviewed Dragunov after on WWE.com, it was, Dragunov's like, yeah, I got his nose, so I didn't miss.
Damn.
This was amazing. And then we go from amazing to holy shnikes, which was the four-way Cruiserweight Championship match between Jordan Devlin, Isaiah Swerve Scott, the Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks, and the new champion, Angel Garza. So, early in the match, Garza tried to get his pants off. Boom, triple super kick. They weren't having any of it. Scott and Devlin just started trading blows and shining in this match. They were going off. There was a wicked double Spanish fly by I believe it was Devlin, the Kiwi Crusher. And then just out of nowhere, after a whole bunch of crazy spots and finishers, we see a backdrop driver by Jordan Devlin, and he is the new Cruiserweight Champion. And the NXT Cruiserweight Championship got a nice redesign that looks, in my mind, a hell of a lot better. It doesn't look like a big purple candy. It looks like, it's black with a little purple on the inside, so it looks a little bit less cartoony, I'll say. Very good. And Devlin bringing the title over to the UK. You got guys like, oh my goodness, his name just escaped me. The guy with the pointy mask. in the UK. In the UK.
El Ligero?
Thank you. So we got guys like El Ligero over there, so I think they can have a program for the title. I hope the Cruiserweight title stays there for a while. NXT UK needs a mid-card title, and they don't have, like... I'm predicting still we're going to see something along the lines of the European Championship, which I think would be cool, because you have the North American Championship over here. Like, why not... William Regal comes out with he'll come out there with the European title. This is a title that I loved dearly, and I want NXT UK to have this. And by the way, you have to beat me
in War Games.
Yes. Oh, get in. Imagine.
NXT UK War Games would be like nobody would survive that event.
No one will survive. Exactly. Speaking of no one will survive, we have the newly reunited DIY going up against Mustache Mountain, and damn, this was, again, I keep saying when we're talking about British wrestlers, this was stiff. This was just, they laid it all out in the ring. This is the forefathers of NXT UK going up against, one of the most famous, I wouldn't say most successful tag teams in NXT US, because they were rather short-lived. They had one run with the titles, but they were just the underdog favorites. This dates all the way back to their run in the Cruiserweight Classic, which I want to rewatch. It was amazing. So you start off coming out to the DIY theme with new DIY merch. No, I'm flipping my shirt, but this is my Kevin Owens shirt I got at Comic-Con last year. Close enough. So this is just a dream match of all dream matches. That just started with Trent Seven going on Twitter being like, "Hey, mate, fancy a tag match?" And we're there. So you started off with Gargano and Bate sparring off, Seven and Ciampa tag in, and they go through several pose downs and mustache twirls, which was hilarious. A great fun back and forth here with Bate and Ciampa. Ciampa just blasted him with a hard right hand while going for the bop, whatever this move is called on. Thank you, Bleacher Report. DIY followed up with more tandem offense, and we had dueling chants of DIY Mustache Mountain. The crowd was loving it. So they had them down in the ring. They go over the top rope. They're both sitting on the ring apron. They look at each other. They do the applause with like the self-pat on the back, and they have a little side hug. It was adorable. And you get back in the ring, you have Tyler Driver 97, you have dual airplane spins, but it was more like a helicopter, and they were just rotating around each other. Surprisingly, not catching and clipping each other. That could have been ugly if someone's leg, knocked someone else's head off. Right. It was amazing. Bate just delivered an exploder suplex. A running shooting star press was countered with a knee to the face. They hit the burning hammer knee combo on Ciampa, which I thought, please don't kill his neck, please. That move is disgusting. And then eventually, after a whole bunch of wackiness, we see meet in the middle. The DIY kick for the win. They shake hands and embrace after the match, and wow. And then next for the NXT Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Toni Storm. This is, of course, a rematch from, I believe, the Mae Young Classic Finals and a UK title feud, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because Rhea Ripley, she was the inaugural UK Women's Champion. Mm-hmm. And by the way, you heard about them taking the name Women off of the championship?
Yeah, I remember us talking a little bit about that last week when we did the prediction show. Right now, I just don't care about what they have to say. I'm still going to call it the NXT Women's Championship because Becky Lynch has gone on record to say that was not her intentions behind her comments. She was just saying, you can't just treat us like women. This is not, the Attitude Era days anymore. Treat us like we're actual athletes. And it was one of those things was like, wow, WWE are just mistakenly take something that somebody said, I'm in shock.
Yeah, but I don't mind it. I like it. Kate had a very good thing to say about her being non-binary. It's like this is something that's good for people who don't identify with their birth gender, if that's the right way to say it. If it's not, I'm sorry. I think it's something that's good for the LGBTQ community there. So it's good for them. But I'm just like, it's just a title. It's just a belt. I mean, we know that Rhea Ripley comes out, she's the NXT champion. Adam Cole comes out, he's the NXT champion. We know that they're male and female unless they specify that they don't identify as such. But it's okay. I'm definitely okay with it. It's cool. We had this was a great rematch here. This was very, very quick. Tony got a couple of near falls here, hit a German suplex, tried for a frog splash, but it was a really awkward looking frog splash. And then there was a riptide. After the match, you can see Bianca Belair was applauding, possibly sarcastically, because they're poised to have a showdown at Portland. Now, I've said before that I'm not a Bianca Belair fan, but this Rumble weekend, I definitely gained respect for her. Because her showing in the Rumble, which we'll get to, holy shnikes. Still don't like her gimmick, but I'm still not going to cheer for her. Sorry, Phil, but it's that. So we had the main event, Undisputed Era versus Imperium. Very early in the match, unfortunately, Alexander Wolf caught a kick right in the chin. He didn't tuck it in, or I don't know if you're supposed to tuck it in or if you're supposed to, raise it. He got smoked in the face by Bobby Fish, and right away the referee, he just goes limp, just like that, flops down like a fish, and not like a Bobby Fish. That was not intended to be a joke. No, but the referee is just like, hang on a second, and puts up the X. Wolf goes out, Fish is visibly distraught, like he's just like, oh my gosh, what happened? And Wolf tweeted that, no, that's all on me. I didn't tuck my chin. It's my fault I had a concussion. So this was basically a handicap match, but Imperium and Undisputed Era, they just went to town. This might as well have been a War Games or Survivor Series match. Whole bunch of wacky back and forth here. We had a double German suplex by everybody. We had a jumping DDT by Bartel that almost got them the win. We had the European Bomb. We had Walter just chopping the crap out of everybody. And then we had we had a big dropkick and a powerbomb onto Bobby Fish, and that was curtains. We had the three members of Imperium in the ring, with the pose. It looked a little awkward without
Alexander Wolf.
Without Alexander, but you know what? He was getting taken care of. He's fine. Maybe he'll just have a couple of weeks off. And I'd say this was a takeover in disguise. And when you were thinking about that, I'm like, if you think I am the master of disguise, I will reach through this laptop and smack you.
No, that was never my intention. Trust me. I saw that movie once, and once was too much.
I think that's one of the few movies that I never saw, but my brother walked out of the theater. It was that, and I believe it was Kung Pao. And he's like, I walked out. Those movies fucking sucked. So that was that. I'll give that a solid. Force. I'm not going to Meltzer this. I can't crown this. I can't Meltzer this. So I'll just say it was
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 big gorilla thumbs up. OSW
nice.
Review reference. There it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Very freaking-tastic indeed. All right, so Frontline Pro got the chance to meet up with so many people, got to take some pictures, and like I said in my post, that it's a constant reminder that somehow wrestling is one thing that'll just make me smile. And actually, it's kind of crazy is that I was talking to my friend Griff about the whole thing, and he said, well, at least, if you can't find the love of your life, at least you can always count on your first love. And it was one of those things where it's like, it is crazy because despite how many relationships I've been through, my first love has always been professional wrestling. When I was 14, got into it, and I've been a fan of wrestling ever since then, even if it's not purely WWE based. So Frontline Pro did a fantastic job in a show in Marshfield. Got the chance to watch a little bit of this. I did not actually write down the notes because I was actually more just, watching it, getting my mind off and stuff like that. So this was more just me thinking about. This is more just me, thinking about stuff that happened off the top of my head that kind of stood out. Colucci and Justin Dredd, who were part of the MDC, a faction that is run by Ben McCoy. They picked up a victory that night. We actually got to see Ben McCoy. I actually got a video of this, of him beating shit out of two people. He hit a DDT on one. He hit a stunner on another. It was great. It's one of those things where I'm just like, oh, I am looking forward to Honor Bound when we see McCoy versus Rob Van freaking Dam. That is going to be an absolutely epic matchup. One match that I remember very well was the Last Man Standing match between Shane Hills and Jay Cash. This was a very brutal matchup, and I'll get into that in just a bit. But I want to say this: there's this kind of routine that I do with Shane Hills, and shout out to the front row mafia here in Wisconsin for kind of giving me the inspiration to this. A lot of times when there's like either a heel or somebody they just don't like, something like that, they will always just turn their back to them, not even give them any attention. So I've been doing that same thing with Shane Hill. I think he's just really started to like the fact that I'm doing that so much that he actually kind of gave me a little bit of a bump while I was facing behind him. And some people were just saying like, oh, dude, he hit you, he touched you. Because one of the rules that they say during the wrestling shows is, you don't touch them, they won't touch you. This is one of those things where it's like, I feel like I'm owed one punch to Shane Hills at this point. I feel like I'm owed that, at least one. So I'm saving that up for
Roll up for the 24/7 title.
The 24/7 championship of Wisconsin. I think there was a time where there actually was a championship that was like that. I think it's been long since abolished. But the match, like I said, between Jay Cash and Shane Hills is just absolutely brutal. They incorporate tables, they incorporate everything. There was actually a table spot where Shane Hill actually went through the table, and one picture that I showed kind of shows like a huge mark on Shane Hill's back. I honestly looked at that. I was like, oh, geez. Let's just be thankful that that wasn't like Bob Holly deep or Bob Holly long. Because if you guys remember the RVD Bob Holly match where he did that suplex from the apron through the table and he had that gash on his back, that was just rough. And it kind of looked like that too. And I even showed Jay Cash the mark after his match where he's like, oh, geez. Yeah, that explains why my back hurts. I'm like, you think? That matchup ended in a draw after both men could not answer the count of 10 after a while. But then they announced an I Quit match for the March show, I believe it was. So that's going to be really cool. It's going to be absolutely brutal. They also talk about a show that they're doing with the Wisconsin Pro Wrestling, the WPW shows. I think that this show is actually happening this weekend. It's a tournament where basically the winner gets a shot at both the Frontline Pro heavyweight title as well as the WPW heavyweight title. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like they could be walking away with 2 championships for all we know, and that would just be amazing. We had Marche Rocket taking on Logan Lynch. Really good matchup between these guys. I will say this, that it was really funny when I basically said two comments that really made my night with this Logan Lynch matchup where he lost his championship to Colin Brooks. I believe this was in November. I do believe we talked about this. And one of the things I screamed at him, I said, "Where's your belt, Logan?" And he's like, funny. So later on during the matchup, Logan Lynch does like an axe handle from the second rope, and there's a guy right by me who said like, well, of course you could do that. He's 10 pounds lighter. And it took me a minute where it's like, what? Oh, got it. It was literally one of those things where it's like, it's a weird joke, but then when it sinks in, it just gets funnier and funnier. It's like, okay, that's good. That's good. So Logan Lynch won with a low blow followed by the running knee. Picked up the victory there. We then had a triple threat matchup for the King of the Cruiserweights Championship. Cal Hero, the champion, defending his championship, or George, as he likes to call it. It is one of the most brilliant things that I've ever seen. It's almost like Little Jimmy, but in Wisconsin form. It's awesome. If you haven't gotten a chance, go check out Cal Hero's Facebook fan page. It's amazing. It's so hilarious. He's defending the title against Johnny Swashbuckle and T-Dub3. Really good matchup. Mr. Cal Hero picked up the victory by pinning T-Dub3, but then there were just a bunch of these guys that came out, and all I'm thinking to myself is, okay, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. But it looks like T-Dub3 and Cal, we're gonna team up and just take both these guys down. But in the end, nope. T-Dub3 turns on Cal Hero, and he becomes a heel. It's one of those things like, why? Why T-Dub3? Why? I even said that to him. I don't know if he intentionally did this to me, but he actually was taking off his wrist tape and threw a piece right at me. So that was the picture I had on my social media where I'm just kind of holding it and saying, all I could think to myself is, why T? Why? It's just one of those things where it's like I have so many questions. I need to know answers. But yeah, like I said, great matchup. We had Coda Jacobs defending the Battle Championship against Backwoods Brown. Oh, help us. This was okay. This was a pretty freaking funny matchup, and I'll explain why. So during this matchup, Backwoods Brown, he falls, he gets thrown into the steps, and oh no, before this even happens, Backwoods is on the outside with Coda Jacobs, and he actually grabs Coda Jacobs. He has his arms behind his back, and he's telling these kids to just smack him. There's this long line, almost going 5 kids long, one after another, just smacking Coda Jacobs. It's hilarious. After which Backwoods Brown gets tossed into the ring steps, and it looks like he's going to get counted out. For some reason, I don't know why this happened, and I'm pretty sure Ben was pissed off that this happened. But there's this one guy who runs over. I don't think he was a plan or anything like that. I think he was just a really good fan. He just runs over. He's grabbing Backwoods. He's trying to lift him up to get him in the ring before the 10 count. And these kids are helping out the same way. To which I'm like, what is going on? I'm just listening. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, okay, you do remember the rules of this thing here. You don't touch the wrestlers and they don't touch you or some shit. And I'm just seeing this. I'm like, dude, what is going through Backwoods' mind when this is happening? He's having all these people just basically help him get into the ring. It's hilarious. But then there's this random guy. I don't even know who this guy even was. He just comes in. He's kind of like a supporter for Coda Jacobs. Coda Jacobs is going to try and hit Backwoods with the sign. Backwoods grabs it. They're having this tug-of-war deal here with it. And then Coda Jacobs hits the sign, falls down, pulls an Eddie Guerrero. Backwoods Brown loses by disqualification. Coda Jacobs retains the title. Then we get a matchup made for, I believe it's the next show, where it's Coda Jacobs and the supporter of his taking on Backwoods Brown and a partner of his choosing, and the winner, and if Backwoods Brown's team wins, Backwoods Brown gets another opportunity at the Battle Championship. So that's going to be very cool. Then we had the main event, which was Colin Brooks versus Joey freaking Jet Avalon. So the relationship I have with Joey Avalon is very well documented on social media. It's a hate he probably wants to bury me relationship. I mean, the dude has a shovel, for God's sakes. It is kind of funny. There was a point where I was giving him the bird, and he's just like, "Wait, we have kids in the show. Wait, yeah, we have kids here." And I'm thinking to myself, dude, I don't care. You want to make children cry. I do not care. But just an absolutely fantastic matchup between these two guys. One of my favorite moments is already documented on Facebook. I think I need to put this on Instagram too. Where Colin Brooks does this rolling powerbomb for the top rope, and freaking Joey Avalon, he hits it, rolls up, and then just flops back. It's just so freaking hilarious. I love his comment where he basically just says, "I'm dealing with gravity or some shit. I don't know what I'm doing anymore." So it was just awesome. In the end, we see Colin hit his combo. I believe it was oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what it was. I know it's a curb stomp and then followed by a stunner, but I feel like there's one more move that was in there. I forgot what it was. But Colin Brooks retained his heavyweight championship. He's holding on to it, and honestly, dude, I can't get enough of Colin Brooks. And every single time I see him, it's always great. It's always fantastic. It's always just phenomenal. One other thing I definitely did want to say is that I got the chance to reconnect with one of the guys that I actually was at his first day of training with, and it was kind of one of those things where I would have trained more, but the problem was that scheduling just didn't permit me. That was Brock Hall. Guy is awesome. He's absolutely amazing, and I did say to him, we got to get that interview going. He's like, oh yeah, definitely. So hopefully before the year's over, we get that Brock Hall interview. I definitely want that on my list. As far as the interviews that are going on for the rest of the year, like I said, next month, actually by the time this is up, it's already going to be February. My God. We're the first show in February. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, God.
I know. The year's already a month in. For February, I've got Nathan Gust. For March, I have Randy Fitzsimmons as well as Cal Hero. April is Colucci round 2 because a lot of people really enjoyed the interview that I had with Colucci in November, and I'm going to have to listen to it again so that way I don't ask the same questions again. But I know I have to get a little more juicy in the nitty-gritty for this one. It's going to be awesome. And in the July show, I will have Coda Jacobs on the show, so that's going to be a very patriotic and very politically correct, probably not, show. And in December, I've already confirmed this with him, I will be interviewing Swoggle. I am looking forward to that. That's going to end the year off in a huge way. And one of the reasons why I wanted to wait until the very end of the year is because I definitely do want to read his book. He's a best-selling author for a reason. And the book, as far as I read into it, it is just really good. So I need to finish reading that book before I even get to that. And there might also be some questions that I have going into that might pop up during the reading. So there will definitely be a lot of references. Definitely, if you see Swoggle, buy his book. And definitely listen to that podcast interview in December. It's going to be just absolutely a lot of fun. So Frontline Pro did a fantastic job. I'll give it, as you said, 2 gorilla thumbs up. It was a fantastic show. Everything worked out pretty well. I will say this, that there was also another matchup that was like a 6-pack challenge, 6-pack elimination challenge, in which another guy by the name of Zach Hendricks was a new guy that I never really saw before. But I was just like, okay, this guy's pretty cool. And he would have won had it not been for my arch nemesis, Salem Crane. Somehow he decided to come to Frontline Pro. And it's like, I can't escape this guy. All I'm asking is for, in a couple weeks, there's ACW. Isn't that... Oh my gosh, it's already next weekend. Jeez Louise. Next weekend having ACW show, doing the recording with Val, Oscar season. Oh my gosh. Oh, I gotta do an Oscar prediction show. That's right, I did forget about that. I do have to do that for the podcast. It's insane. But all I want is, during that Falls Count Anywhere deal, if I can just get one shot on Salem Crane, I think I'll have my entire year made. That's just me, though. So, we'll see what happens. Falls Count Anywhere means absolutely anything. I already said to Gus, dude, you could pin him in a burger joint. You could pin him on the streets. You could pin him in his own house. It doesn't matter. It's Falls Count Anywhere. And he just said, I like the way you think. It's like, it's Falls Count Anywhere, dude. It's kind of like what they did with Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper, only they should have taken the camera and had them follow him all over the city, because that would have been amazing. But that's just me. All right, so we're going to take another quick commercial break, guys. When we come back, get ready for the tissues, because we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble. Why is it so emotional? You're about to find out why in just a bit. So stay tuned, guys. We will be right back.
What's going on, everyone? This is the Kate Murphy of Kings of the Rings podcast, and you're listening to the Game Changer podcast only on Wrestle Addict Radio.
I came to play. There's a price to pay.
Hey guys, this is NateFNGreat. Hey, have you ever wanted to be a champion but can't seem to really find the money and the time to get a championship belt? Well, you know who's a really good friend of mine? AJ from AJsBelts.com. These guys have a large assortment of championship belts, from classic belts to the modern day belts to championship belts you would not even believe. And guys, like I said, they work with you very well. With an awesome layaway program, there is no way that you can beat these guys' prices as well as these guys' deals, especially when you can give them a little bit of money every now and then until you can get that championship gold. Coming from a guy who's a champion and a game changer, I'm indeed NateFNGreat. I'm representing AJsBelts.com, proud friends of the Game Changer Podcast.
What is up, peeps? This is Mr. Fretz from the Game Changer Podcast, here to tell you about my new show called the 20 Bell Salute. It is a monthly 20-year look back on not only WWE pay-per-views, but also movies, music, TV, video games, and so much more. You can find this and many other exclusive shows on the Wrestle Addict Radio Patreon for only $5 a month. So join the fam and keep wrestling real.
What's going on, guys? This is Zach, your host of the Young Lions Perspective Podcast, and you are listening to the Game Changer Podcast on Wrestle Addict Radio.
Come true. I make them for you. I make dreams come true. I make them for you. What's that metronome I hear? Perhaps the end is drawing near. You never hear the shot that takes you down. Now your dreams are memory. It seems more true from far away. Just like smoke that fades and makes no sound. Out of time, so say goodbye. What is yours now is mine.
Yeah, guys, we didn't have any issues. I just really love this theme song. Welcome back to the Game Changer Podcast. I am NateFNGreat. This is Mr. Fretz. All right, let's talk about the big one. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble. Something tells me we're going to take a whole freaking hour to do this, and I do not care. I actually think that there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the Royal Rumble. We're probably going to go really quickly with a lot of these matches. And honestly, there were a lot of things that were very fast about this Royal Rumble, which really surprised me. We'll get into that in just a bit, but first we got to go through the pre-show. We first had Shorty G, a.k.a. Chad Gable, because I refuse to call him anything else besides that. Why did you trademark this thing, WWE? Do you hate me? Do you want to just punch me in the nuts while you're at it? Taking on the big Sheamus. Honestly, is there really anything to say about this matchup?
I didn't watch this, or the next pre-show match, or the street fight, so...
Okay.
I got home from work just as the Women's Rumble started, so it was perfect timing.
Okay, so I'll just go through these matches really quick then. Sheamus defeated Shorty G. Much really you can say about that. Also, can we get rid of all this basketball gear? We miss Chad Gable doing his awesomeness as Kurt Angle. Also, why was he not the bastard son of Kurt Angle? I know that sounds really mean in retrospective, but still at the same time, he's the only one that kind of looks like him. We had the U.S. title matchup where we had Andrade Cien Almas taking on Humberto Carrillo. I called this one a fail because Ricardo Rodriguez didn't come out to do the introduction for it. Let's face it, Humberto Carrillo makes that matchup so much better. To be fair, though, these guys did put on a hellacious showcase between the two of them. In the end, though, Andrade won the matchup, retained his championship. He defeated Humberto the following night, and as a way of saying, hey, good job, here's a wellness violation. That's really all it was. And honestly, I will say this. The only thing you need to know about the wellness violation is just tune into the Kings of the Rings podcast. They had a pretty interesting perspective as to how this probably came about and why, he's able to hold on to his U.S. title for as long as he had. Anyway, next we had King Corbin versus Roman Reigns in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. In all honesty, you guys, this went by a lot better than I thought it did. And considering the fact that this is, basic, Cena-Orton spam kind of a deal, again, it was really good. They did not really spend that much time in the ring. They had Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode come involved, and then they had the Usos. Everything was crazy. And then there was a point where freaking King Corbin was in a porta potty and just got shoved over. And the only thing that people were pissed about that one was the fact that he did not have any kind of feces or anything on them. But people are probably going to say, well, that was probably a clean porta potty. Shut up. Just shut up. If they could do that with Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman, they could have done this with King Corbin. I don't care what anybody says. Just shut up. So Roman Reigns hits a spear on the top of one of the dugout areas, and he pins him on the top of that. 1, 2, 3. Somebody, I think it was actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might have been our friend Dallas. He actually got a really good picture of Roman Reigns having his hand raised. Just that sight there where just the light was looking great. Everything was really awesome. It was a better picture than that interesting graphic of Roman Reigns before that matchup even started. That was that guy had a lot of vitamins, if that was the case. Jeez Louise, that was it was interesting. All right, so now we can talk about the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Now, here's the interesting part about this Royal Rumble match, as well as the one for the men's. It feels like the rotations were kind of fast. It did feel like it was more like a 60-second deal instead of like the 90-second deal. I don't know if that's what they had in mind, but it definitely felt like these entrants were coming out faster and faster and faster as time went on. So I'm going to go through the entrants here, starting from number 1 all the way to 30. We had Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, Mighty Molly, Nikki Cross, Lana, Mercedes Martinez, oh my god, yes, Liv Morgan, Mandy Rose, Candice LeRae, Sonya Deville, Kairi Sane, Mia Yim, Dana Brooke, Tamina, Dakota Kai, Chelsea Green, yes, 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 Charlotte Flair, Naomi, holy crap, Beth Phoenix, oh my god, Toni Storm, Kelly, shout out to you, Agent Cooper, Max, you know it's your favorite wrestler, Sarah Logan, Natalya, Xia Li, Shotzi Blackheart, Carmella, I hate you, Phil, Tegan Knox, Santina Marella, and Shayna Baszler. I say I hate you, Phil, just because of the fact that A, he always says Mela is money, and B, that was one of my picks. That was one of my unfortunate random picks for the Women's Royal Rumble. The other one was Xia Li, which if you see the reaction, I was literally like, okay, I could take Xia Li, that's fine. But you see literally my face go from like pure joy to be like, I wish I were dead when Carmella came out. Unfortunately, my friends Nick and Spencer, they were just loving it. So some highlights from this, freaking Bianca Belair with 8 eliminations. My God. She was just eliminating people left and right and center. Mercedes Martinez, like I said before, getting her moment. Oh, that was amazing. I was super happy when I saw that. I did. One thing that is definitely a beautiful thing is Liv Morgan in her current attire, where she literally is wearing just the black deal. It's just, oh God. I loved her when she was doing kind of like the Harley Quinn kind of deal with the Riot Squad, but then she just went into that, and I was like, oh my God, this is a transformation, and I love it. Frickin' Otis, my God. One of the highlights of this entire matchup. So Mandy Rose, she is kind of she rolls out from the top, and then she kind of rolls out, and we're thinking like, oh, well, there goes Mandy Rose. Camera pans over. We see her lying on top of Otis, who was just conveniently there for no reason whatsoever. He basically is staying there. She gets on Otis. She gets back in the ring. It's fine. Second time around, she gets thrown out. Boom. It looks like Sonya Deville does an accidental deal with Mandy Rose. Just like on SmackDown, Otis catches Mandy. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, okay. So she's going to be okay. Not really. Sonya Deville gets thrown out. She gets speared. She lands on top of Otis. Otis kind of falls over, and they're both eliminated. And it's one of those things where if Otis was able to hold Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, I think that would have created for an awesome moment at the Royal Rumble where it's like, holy shit, he is freakish strong if he's able to do that. But it's one of those things where it's like, it happens. If he was trying, that would have been awesome. But if that was how it was planned, it served his purpose. Probably one of the reasons also why Otis was not in the men's Royal Rumble, which I was shocked by, because they showed the graphic of Tucker and Otis being a part of it, but they never showed up. I was kind of bummed about that, but I was like, okay. I was legit happy to see Chelsea Green be involved in this matchup. If you see my reaction video, Chelsea Green even retweeted it with a little bit of like a laughing emoji. It's one of those things where I'm basically just like, who the hell's music is this? And then I'm just freaking out like, oh my god, Chelsea Green! Yes! I've been a fan of Chelsea Green's ever since she did the whole Hot Mess deal, ever since she did that whole deal in Lucha Underground. I can't hate this woman. I really can't. I mean, she kind of started off as one of those faces where it's like, well, she's going to just be here and whatever. But as soon as she went into that whole Hot Mess deal, it's like, I'm on board. I'm totally on board for Chelsea Green. And then, of course, we know that she's engaged to woo, your local broski, Zack Ryder. And he's awesome. Oh, God. Beth Phoenix coming into this matchup, absolutely phenomenal. I loved seeing her in this. Although I could have done without the back head injury that she had. I still don't. Do you know what happened during that deal? Because I'm still trying to figure out how did she even get like that gash in the back of her head? Like, did she land wrong on a turnbuckle? Did she land wrong on the post or something like that? Or
yeah, it was a ring post deal, I think.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was one of those things where originally we were watching this and it's kind of like, I think Charlotte's bleeding or something like that. And then we kind of see a little bit of Becky, like back of Beth Phoenix's hair. I'm like, ooh, geez, man, Charlotte must have bled a lot. Wait a minute. Oh no, that's coming from her head. Oh no, that's bad. That is bad. So for those of you that think that Beth Phoenix can't work, she was working with a freaking gash in the back of her head probably. And yeah, anybody who says that she can't work can go to hell. Because she worked her ass off in that matchup. Right here, I'm reading that she was in for 23 minutes and 5 seconds. So that's probably not including the... I mean, I don't know when she really got that head injury. I don't know if it was maybe like a couple minutes in or something like that. But the fact that she was in for that long, that says a lot. Let's go into something that everybody has been bitching about. The whole thing with Santino Marella. Some people are saying, oh, well, let's face it. This is obviously a dude. This is obviously bullshit because a man should not be competing in the Royal Rumbles match because then we would have the whole Ellsworth deal in Money in the Bank. No. If you remember, Ellsworth ruined Money in the Bank by winning the match for Carmella. That was bullshit. This was freaking hilarious because Beth Phoenix, her face sold the whole thing, like Will was saying. Just her looking at Santina, she is literally like, I am going to slaughter you. And then Natalya is even just having this face of like, what the hell are you even doing here? We thought we were going to get the Cobra, but she looks and she sees both of them, and Santina's like, okay. Cobra's herself, eliminates herself. Honestly, Santina, oh gosh, this was a great moment. I don't care what anybody says. If people are bitching about, oh, they could have done that for a legend or something like that. There was enough surprises in this matchup, and I loved it. It was not at all bad. I was shocked, legitimately shocked, when it came down to Charlotte and Shayna Baszler. These two really put a really good matchup between these two, and the finish was honestly another surprise. I honestly thought that they were indeed going with Shayna. But no, they went a different direction, and they went with Charlotte. And to be honest, I'm not all that mad about it, because in all honesty, it's one of those things that Charlotte has yet to do, and it does kind of cement the legacy of the Flair family in wrestling. Because Ric Flair, we already went through his Royal Rumble victory from 1992, and now about 28 years later, her daughter is kind of following her footsteps, although it wasn't for a championship. But as long as she wins a championship at WrestleMania, she'll probably do better than her dad. I'm just going to say that right now, because we all know Ric Flair wins the title at Rumble. What about WrestleMania? Well, you know, we're not going to go into that. But yeah, no, I honestly really enjoyed this matchup. But Fretz, what did you think about this matchup? What did you think about this Women's Royal Rumble match?
This was amazing. It was very well done. Bianca Belair lasting 33 minutes, getting the most eliminations in Rumble history. You know, I said before, I'm not a fan of her, but I definitely gained a lot of respect for her. She is insanely talented. I'm glad she didn't whip anyone with her hair, so maybe that part of her gimmick is going away. I hope.
Fingers crossed.
Mighty Molly, and they're like, you still got it. She's always had it.
True.
And now I'm just like, okay, King's like, hey, where's the Hurricane? Ah! Shut up, King. Bliss and Cross do the best friends hug during the match. I thought it was adorable. Lana and Liv, who cares? But Liv's new attire, muy caliente. Mandy and Sonya do the total elimination. Oh gosh. Because I was going to break out laughing here about Mandy landing on top of Otis. You lucky bastard.
Right?
And he's like, this reminds me of a bit from an OSW Royal Rumble, and Matthew was on it, and it's just like, the pancake spot, it's like, you know, pancakes is not flaw, says Matthew. It's like, Otis is not flaw, although something on him might be harder than the flaw.
We're not wrong.
I mean, chat me up. Chat me up, Nate. Do you want Blue Chew? Chat me up, Otis. Would you like Blue Chew? Yeah, baby.
I'm coming.
Well, this went down south quick.
So what?
That's so good. That's so good.
I mean, the fact that like two of the funniest moments in the entire Women's Rumble match involved men. I mean, that says a lot. But also, oh geez, I got to mention this. Naomi coming back was just amazing, and her having like the I called it like the domino afro from like Deadpool 2. That was just incredible. And her, oh my gosh, the freaking save that she did to herself where she got thrown out of the ring, she lands on the barricade, and I think that they were saying like she was kind of like holding it there for quite a while, and I think there was probably I don't know what like King's Rings were talking about. If they were saying like there was like that one guy who was just being like tika tika tika. It's like one of those things like, oh dude, do not fuck with Naomi. She has a husband that will literally send you to a penitentiary. But that spot where she actually takes like a top of an announcer's table and uses that to get into the ring, I was thinking to myself, there's no way that's going to hold her. That's no way it's going to hold. And then I was proven wrong. I'm like, wrestling logic is out the window at this point. That was obviously stronger than I thought it was.
That was amazing. I would have loved if Otis was able to catch them both. That would have been phenomenal. Naomi, I wrote down Scary Spice Afro.
Scary Spice.
With if you want to be my you go back to my childhood. Yeah. Do you want to learn about the time Mr. Fretz hit puberty? It was Spice Girls. You're welcome.
That's funny.
Beth and Tony coming into the ring, and Kelly, Agent Cooper, And she does this think face, I'll take that spot. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Zelina coming out as Sindel I think she came out as Sindel from Mortal Kombat. Would Zelina Vega come out as Vega with the claws and the mask? Just, perfect. You know it. She's a giant nerd. I love it. Santina, why? I'm not gonna bitch about it by saying like, I agree. Someone else should have been in there, but every Rumble needs a comedy spot. A lot of people were saying, how transphobic it was. And one thing that kind of changed my mind about it is, Kate being non-binary, she's like, I'm cool with it. I laughed. Like, oh, okay. But the self-Cobra, okay, that's the self-Cobra and the self-elimination, that's funny. I'll give it that. But the gimmick itself, I don't think would fly today. No. Shayna coming out last was a nice surprise, although I saw it coming. Charlotte winning just like that. I'm not pissed, and I have a theory. I shared this with Zach. I sent him a voicemail on Anchor this week. Which, by the way, if you want to send us a voicemail on Anchor, Wrestle Addict Radio, or on mine, Wrestlemania, do it. Yeah. Charlotte's going to challenge Rhea Ripley.
Which makes sense.
And put Ripley over at Mania. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say right now that's the deal. What did I? Oh no, that was just the joke. I had something else written down here, but it was the coronavirus. I already made that joke.
Fair enough. Next matchup we have on here is Bayley versus Lacey Evans for the SmackDown Women's Championship. In all honesty, guys, I really wanted to get into this matchup, but I just couldn't. I really couldn't. The highlight for me in this matchup was, damn it, was the freaking deal where they had the camera on Lacey's daughter, and just as she's putting her finger up her nose, they cut. They moved to the deal. That was my favorite moment of that entire deal. It's like, you mean the match was? Yeah, and it wasn't. Again, it's hard for me to get into it. And some people are saying like, well, it's her first, world champion, her first pay-per-view match, her first deal for the women's championship. Not true. You have to remember, last year she competed against Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. It was at Money in the Bank after WrestleMania. So you have to. So while some people might say like, well, it's her first title matchup, it's not very many people were really good at her first title matchup. Blah blah blah. Honestly, I think I want to go back and see how this matchup compares to her match against Becky, because I probably can guarantee you that her match with Becky was better. I can probably guarantee it. I'm willing to put at least bet $5 on it. Match itself, like I said, nothing really too eventful. Lacey did try going for a moonsault. Bayley with the perfect counter was able to get the feet up. Lacey Evans just selling it like a champ. 1, 2, 3. Bayley wins, and she walks away with her WWE Women's Championship, SmackDown Women's Championship. I didn't say anything about Elite, BB Elite. That's just me. Overall, what did you think of this matchup, though, Fretz?
It sucked. I think I was either texting with my cousin, or I was making something to eat, or like Will taking a dump during this match. So it didn't appeal to me in the slightest. I don't have to eat the spicy chips, thank goodness.
I remember that. I remember you tweeting me that, and I was just like, well, I think Fretz's stomach is safe for the time being.
I bought a bag of ghost pepper tortilla chips, and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave them here. Maybe leave them here for another challenge, for another day. But no, I'm glad. But they would clear me out right about now, so maybe I might break them open.
just to get rid of the sickies. So next up we have the strap match for the WWE Universal Championship, in which The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, defends against Daniel Bryan. So, okay. I will say this, that I do have an issue with Will saying that Chelsea Green did not need to be in this matchup, because I'm a big fan of Chelsea Green. Also, F you, Will. She deserved to be in this matchup for everything that she's accomplished in wrestling, not just WWE alone. Secondly, why is it that when it comes to like historical stuff like that, that they always go straight to you? I mean, have I not shown that I have knowledgeable presence when it comes to these matches, like a strap match? And I'm pretty sure I mentioned on the prediction show that I was praying to God that it was not a Four Corners deal. And for those of you that are kind of wondering, I'm going to answer King Ricky and Will's answer for him. Was the whole John Cena deal a Four Corners deal? It was a Russian chain match, and yes, they did the Four Corners deal. The whole thing with Savio Vega and Stone Cold Steve Austin, it was a strap match, but they did the Four Corners deal. They did not call it a Four Corners strap match. They called it just a strap match. They decided to loosen these rules up so many times and change everything about the matchup itself. Remember those Texas Bull Rope matches that JBL had? Well, Dusty Rhodes and Randy Orton had a Texas Bull Rope match, and it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, pinfall or submission. Because in all honesty, I think it was better for Dusty not to have that kind of endurance. It would have been a long match if that was the case. So, Salty Nate is gone. It's fine. As far as this matchup goes, it was just straight up, have a strap, win by pinfall or submission. My God, this was brutal. Just the amount of torture and punishment that was just going on Daniel Bryan. Just hearing the smacks, hearing the slaps, and the same thing going into like The Fiend. And I will say this, how the hell did Bray Wyatt go from like selling to no selling on the flip of a dime or just by a snap of a finger? How the hell does that happen?
Because he wore a cup.
Okay, fair enough. Wait, on his chest? He wore like a bit. That's a massive cup.
No, didn't Daniel Bryan kick him in the nuts like 5 times?
Maybe.
I think he got kicked in the nuts a bunch of times. Like, I will Rochambeau you for this. Got the whole hands mole man, football the groin, fear. You that man makes $10,000.
Well, I mean, Bray Wyatt's got kids, so he probably doesn't need to be making new ones anytime soon. Especially ones that'll probably come out and just say, "Let me in, mommy." Oh God, I'm creeping myself out just by saying that.
Yeah, I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Oh Jesus, I'm sorry. Jeez, I might not sleep anymore. Please, just don't say the name. Just don't say the name. It's okay. Back to this. You know what? Another positive from this matchup. It didn't have the red light. Thank God.
Hey.
It actually looked like a legit match, and it was a great match. These guys were literally just laying it on the line, and they were just absolutely just killing each other with the straps, with the weapons, with everything. It was just absolutely brutal. Daniel Bryan hit the running knee a couple of times, and just the moment where Daniel Bryan's starting to do like the yes, 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 and Bray Wyatt's just kind of doing his version of the Keith Lee deal, only less intimidating. Let's be fair, because Keith Lee is amazing. So we see Bray Wyatt do it. He gets some nice hits in the chest with the straps. He sells it. We see yes locks. We see kicks. We see the Sister Abigail, and then finally we see the mandible claw. I think they need to like call it something else. Maybe it's like the Fiend's grip or something like that, just to fit his character. But that's just me. So I'm just going to call it that for right now until we think of something better. He locks in the Fiend's grip, puts Daniel Bryan down. 1, 2, 3. The Fiend retains the championship. He's walking away, and Daniel Bryan, he gets a little bit of help from people, but then he's just like, no, I'm doing this on my own. He's just kind of like in a bad way. He is kind of fallen, but he's also just walking out on his own. It's literally one of those things where it's like, okay, this is kind of like the fine line between fiction and reality, where it's like either he's selling this really well or he is legit hurt. I'm going to go with he's legit hurt, because those straps are nothing to joke about.
Yeah, if you were disciplined with said straps, you'd know how much they hurt. I wasn't, but know. Ask your parents.
Yeah. Well, I when we did backyard wrestling deals, we did actually have to do like the belt deal. I did get swatted on my back a couple times, and that sucks. I mean, butt's one thing, but on the back is a completely different deal. Especially if you get a huge welt on there, it sucks like a motherfucker. But do you have anything to add with this strap match, or as I call it, the BDSM match for WWE?
Yeah, if you think those welts are bad, you should see my back with the big scars I have back there from my surgery. It's surrounded by hair, but it's still there. So we had this no red light. I was thinking like, okay, I had a theory about the red light and the Fiend's weakness. Maybe it doesn't have to do with red light. I don't know. There was a really wicked flying elbow drop and the running knees, the yes kicks, and the Fiend is just begging for more. There was a spot. Did I write this down? Is it in this match? Anyways, no. It was on. There was a bit on Botchamania where they did a whole bunch of stuff from this night. The Becky Lacey entire match was basically on Botchamania. That's how bad it was. There was a fan going, yowie, wowie, and he just goes like, back at the fan. It was really cool. There was a really nice spot where the mandible claw was reversed into like a triangle choke. That mid-air Sister Abigail counter, damn, that was good. That was like a pop-up powerbomb or a pop-up RKO. It was top-notch, and this is another full circle moment of the day. Take a shot. 6 years ago at the Royal Rumble, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan also had a match.
I do remember that. That was like match of the night.
That was the Royal Rumble. That one was.
Poor Rey Mysterio.
I love Ray. He did not. Friggin' fans are stupid. And you're talking about the strap matches. There's a forgotten strap match from Extreme Rules 2009. Do you remember who this was with?
Okay, so I know the one in 2013 was Sheamus and Mark Henry. So the strap match here, 2009. Oh gosh. I'll take a random guess and say... Oh, crap. Oh. This was this JTD versus Shad Gaspar?
False.
Oh, Umaga and CM Punk. Oh.
Yes. There you go. I'm surprised that Will and them forgot. I'm surprised they forgot that one. But that wasn't a pinfall deal. Not many strap matches have had the pinfall stipulation, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Unless there was like some weird one in TNA, but that's the same company that gave us the electrified cage. So I wouldn't be surprised.
The electrified cage, or the hey, look at us. You have epilepsy. You don't want to watch this matchup.
No, that was WCW. Never mind. Okay. Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know if you're thinking like the oh wait.
The glass. The glass with Abyss.
The glass table match.
No, there's some glass match with Judas Macias and I think it was Judas Macias and Abyss, and it was just glass. There was a barbed wire match with him, and there was another one with that was like stuff on glass.
Oh, okay.
Unless I'm thinking about the glass fist match from ECW with Axl Rotten.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. That was disgusting.
There's some things that I will never watch, and a lot of them do involve a lot of the glass stuff. That's why I'm not comfortable when it comes to CZW, just saying. Next matchup we have on here is for the Raw Women's Championship. We had Becky Lynch versus Asuka. Honestly, I think that this is probably their second best one, because I do believe their first outing was the best one. This one still did have a really good, energy to it. I enjoyed it. I know that there are a lot of people that were just really restless. I had friends that were just like, oh, we just want to get to the men's rumble, just get to the men's rumble. I'm like, would you just shut up? I'm actually trying to enjoy this matchup. And it was hard for me to enjoy it because they were just jerks. But I enjoyed it, as much as I could. I liked a lot of the physicality that took place between these two. The finish was amazing, where we see Asuka going for the mist, but Becky's just like, nope, kick. And Asuka's just spewing the mist up, and just a little bit of it looks like it's like getting her in the eye or something like that. We see Becky locking in to disarm her, picking up the victory with a submission. Becky gets her redemption after a year's worth of time. And honestly, guys, they're tied up. I would be totally okay for a rubber match between the two of them, whether it's at the next big event, Elimination Chamber, or maybe they have it at I would actually be okay if they headline WrestleMania. I know the main plan is to have Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch. I know that's the main rumor mill going along. But if somehow, Shayna Baszler gets injured or something like that, I would not mind seeing Asuka versus Becky 3. I would not mind seeing that. I enjoyed this matchup for as much as I could. But yeah, I was not disappointed with this matchup. I knew it was going to be good, and it turned out to be really good.
Yeah, this match was fantastic. Asuka targeting the arm to set up the Asuka lock was great ring psychology. There was a wicked, just spinning kick to the face that Becky ate. A really good mid-rope rock bottom, or as she calls it, the manhandle wall. And then full circle, she makes Asuka take a tap out. And the bit right at the end where she was about to do the green mist, but, made her miss the air and miss Becky entirely. That was perfect. And, storytelling from a year ago. Long-term booking. Take a shot, full circle, gets her win back. And this match at another pay-per-view, let's have Evolution 2, please. And bring it to that.
Honestly, I'd be okay with that. I would also love to see them do it if they are going to go with Shayna and Becky at WrestleMania. Can we get Asuka versus Becky 3 at Elimination Chamber? Maybe an ultimate submission match? I mean, it's just an idea. It would be awesome. I'm getting shivers just thinking about it. I kind of would enjoy that. So WWE, you know where to find me. I'm not the hard to find. A and B, I work for a really good price. Anyway, we go into the main event, and it is the men's Royal Rumble matchup. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. I am looking forward to talking about this. All right, same thing as before. Going through the lineup, and in all honesty, once we get to a certain person, we're gonna need a moment. Number 1, starting off, Brock Lesnar, Elias, Eric Rowan, Glorious Bobby Roode, damn it, John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, Big E, Cesaro, Shelton Benjamin, Shinsuke Nakamura, MVP, bask in the glory of Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Carl Anderson, the Rated R Superstar, Edge, King Corbin, Matt Riddle, Luke Gallows, Randall Keith Orton, Roman Reigns, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, Samoa Joe, and Seth Monday Night Messiah Rollins. I hate you. Yeah. So, I'm going to start off with this, you guys. This is one of the reasons why I love professional wrestling. This is one of those things where it was a love-hate situation for what went down into this Royal Rumble match, but also it's one of those things that they booked it so well. They had Brock entering at number 1 and he was just throwing people out. One by one, by one, by three, by one, just throwing everybody that he could. Some people were pissed off. It's like, no, John Morris, no, Kofi, no, Cesaro. I was pissed off about Cesaro. I was like, oh, damn it. I want to see Cesaro do like his uppercut, spin him around, do some stuff like that before he gets into that. I will say this, that when Shelton Benjamin came out, that was where things were like, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. It was, and honestly, I like the fact that they played off the deal of like, oh, hey, they went to Minnesota together. They were friends. They're besties, and blah, blah. Oh, they're going to work together. And Brock's just like, nope. Boom. Throws him out. We got the deal between him and Shinsuke. That was great. When Keith Lee came out, was Brock just like, oh, this is a big boy. Who the F is this guy? And we got Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar in this. It was awesome. It was great. Then we had Ricochet coming in. He was about to get slaughtered. As soon as Drew McIntyre hit, I was thinking to myself, oh gosh, this is going to be interesting. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? We see the face-off between Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. And Ricochet's just like, you know what? Screw you, Brock. Low blow. Drew McIntyre. Claymore kicks him out of the ring. Everybody's just like, oh my God, that just happened. And I guarantee you, one person in particular who was pissed off about that more than anyone was in that audience on that night, that being our favorite Demon Diva, Issa. She was in Texas when this happened. I guarantee you she was not happy about this. There was even a reaction video she had at the end of the Rumble where she was just doing like a facepalm deal. It's like, I know, but at the same time, I don't care because I love who won. My gosh. The reaction when we got Edge coming out and just the emotion of so many people. You saw the reaction videos. You saw so many people were either just screaming, they're crying, they're just absolutely insane. I mean, Edge, he literally was almost in tears when he came out because he knew that it wasn't just like a one-off deal where he's the general manager or he's doing like a special appearance or blah, 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 stuff like that. No, he's coming out there to compete. You saw the emotion, and we saw the pyro, the same pyro that he did at WrestleManias, on Raws, on SmackDowns. It was just absolutely great. Oh, and that mini reunion between him and Randy Orton, the mini RKO reunion, that was great. And just the look that Randy was giving Andrew's like, holy shit! How's it going? You look great. He's just pointing at his abs. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is great. We see Seth Rollins. He's basically bringing out his posse. He's beating everybody down. And all I'm thinking to myself is, oh crap, no, just don't let it be, just not Seth, no. No, then they got everybody beaten up on all the boys, and then Drew's like, bye, boom, takes him out. We see, I think the final four for this matchup were Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Edge, Roman Reigns. For, I want to say oh gosh, is it really like the third year in a row? I'm trying to remember. Oh no, it's not. But I'm going to say this: Roman Reigns has probably been more runner-ups than actual winners. He's probably set some kind of record there where he's like most runner-up victors was probably Roman Reigns because he had that deal with Randy Orton, the deal with Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh, the one with Batista. Oh my gosh, I actually almost forgot about that one. And also this year, that's four times he's been the runner-up in the Royal Rumble. I don't think anybody else has done that. That's pretty impressive, actually. So we get this deal where we have the Team Rated RKO deal where they're just beating down on beating down on McIntyre, and I'm thinking to myself, shit, because all that was going through my head was, I spent $20 to have somebody switch one of my numbers so I could get Drew McIntyre, which is one of the reasons why I got this championship belt. it was one of those things where I was willing to put my faith in Drew McIntyre. That is how much I believed in him. I was literally just like, I will live on Drew McIntyre. I will die by Drew McIntyre if this is the case. And just as they're about to go for Roman Reigns, Edge is like, see ya, Orton, poo! But you know, it's not one of those things where it was just a just cause deal. Randy tried to RKO Edge, and Edge is like, what are you doing? And Randy's like, oh, hey, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, man. No problem. So it wasn't one of those things where it was just like, oh, he just did that just to be a dick. It's like, nope. Randy was trying to be a dick to him first, and we found that out also on Monday. We got this really great, back and forth deal between Roman and Edge. Oh, I kind of would love to see a bit of a feud between the two of them. Edge was so close to eliminating Roman, but Roman got him out of the ring. So it was between Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. Oh my God, I was literally just gripping so much furniture during this deal. We see Roman going for the spear. I'm like, no, shit. But Drew McIntyre got out of the way. Claymore on Roman. Throws him out of the ring. Drew McIntyre is your 2020 Men's Royal Rumble victor. Oh my God. I was so happy. I was literally just hugging people and kissing people. And I even did like what my friend usually calls the Nate ground pound, which is where I'm just on my knees on the ground just smashing the floor, because I was so happy for that moment. Because I got to see Drew McIntyre debut. I got to see so many of his incarnations, going from the Chosen One to the 3MB deal. I was always a fan of his. I loved seeing him become Drew Galloway on the independent scene when he won the TNA Heavyweight Championship. Oh, that was just great. It was one of those moments where it's like, oh, this is awesome. I cannot believe that he's getting, the just rewards that he never got in WWE. Time passes on. He goes to NXT. He beats Bobby Roode for the NXT Championship. Oh my God, yes. This is great. This is going to be awesome. Then he goes to the main roster. Oh my gosh, this is getting even better. Wins the Raw Tag Team titles. Okay, I mean, yeah, he's got to compete for the Universal title. He should. He's not going to win. Damn it. Finally reaching this point of 2020, Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble matchup. And he's going to WrestleMania to challenge Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. I literally could have cried at that match, but I said no. I'm saving these tears. I'm saving these tears for WrestleMania when he pins Brock Lesnar in the middle of the ring and holds up the WWE Championship, because that is going to be one of the greatest moments in all wrestling. So much so that I'm going to put a wager on this. If WWE does in fact do this, I will go back to watching WWE programming full time. I will watch the Raws, I watch the SmackDowns, and I'll try to be nicer with the WWE programming. If they screw this up, and they don't do this, that's it. I'm cutting off everything. Whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, I'm just cutting it off. Because this is a guy that I have literally been supporting for so long, and that I have just literally been behind for the longest of time. They cannot screw this up. If they screw this up, I will be pissed. I will be so pissed. That is how much I'm invested in this matchup. I'm invested in Drew versus Brock. I'm invested in seeing Drew becoming the WWE Championship. Alright, so I've said a lot. My good sir Fretz, what have you to add for this event, for this matchup?
have no idea how many times I've replayed that.
It's beautiful.
And it's not just because he's from just down the road in Orangeville. Edge has been a guy I've been a fan of since day one. And I didn't believe, I think I was filming a couple of reactions myself for the show just to put on my YouTube just for shits. And it's like, dude, it's like, number 2 one's like, you think you know, like, I'll like, look up from my phone, like, you think I'm like, I didn't just hear that, did I? Out he comes, like, I left out of my chair, I just went nuts. I was texting my cousin Sunday night. I didn't know that, that was at that point in time that my aunt was rushed to the hospital, but, Johnny was like, James, please keep me updated on the Rumble, and, he's the kind of guy that needs a distraction if there's shit going down. So I'm just like, all caps. It's just like, Jim's back! He's just like, oh my god. Basically, it was amazing. But to go back to number 1 here, my boy Elias. Why? The song he sung on the way to the ring was perfect. Like, he's the sacrificial lamb.
Oh my god.
Brock just like, nope. Cars him. Eric Rowan coming out with Ratatouille. I wanted Brock to like suplex that friggin' pin. Perfect. And I thought we had everyone just starts getting yeeted out. And then by the time we got to the New Day, like Kofi Kingston, this is when the storytelling started to turn up a bit of a notch. Like, okay, we're going to get something here. Rey Mysterio. Okay, there's problems with Rey Mysterio, too. Big E. Give me Big E versus Brock at Super Showdown. I will watch it if they put that match on. Oh, and if you cancel the network, how the shit are we going to do Retro reviews?
Well, I didn't say that I was going to go...
I know.
But I see your point. I see your problem. I see your point.
But I won't blame you on that wager. We have Cesaro. All of them just... And I'm like, okay, I kind of wanted Brock to win the Rumble after I saw that. Issa shout out, like, we were tweeting back and forth, and she just says something, and I'm like, I want to see what your reaction is to when Drew eliminates your beastie. And she's like, oh, LOL, right here. And she's like, bye. Leaves. See you guys later. Have a good weekend. I'm out of here. Just turns around and leaves. Oh, I love Issa. I haven't heard much from her on her channel. She's a busy lady. Yeah. Shout out, a big shout out. Oh, that's my Fiend notes. Nope, over here. MVP. I'm just like, okay, next. I'm filming myself. Okay, number 12. It's gonna be Taker. I'm coming. So he comes out dressed as the Black Panther, and I love Corey Graves' thing. It's like, if he's Black Panther, that makes Brock Lesnar Thanos.
I mean...
yeah. Keith Lee comes out like, oh, Nakamura got just pwned here. And OSW Review did like a quickie review of this, Jay Hunter, and freaking Sami Zayn, he just says, yeah, and out comes Shinsuke Nakamura with Sami Zayn as Martin Prince. After the tale of Nelson and the boy he loves so dear, they remain the best of friends for years and years and years. You ruined them. I love you, Jay Hunter, but damn it, Jay Hunter. Sami Zayn. Oh, man. Just like, there was a bunch of other wrestlers, like Lex Luger. He ruined Lex Luger. Watch a Luger match when you get off here and you hear him sell loud. Like, wow. Ruined. So we have Keith Lee and Brock's just like, he goes to Paul, who is this mofo?
Who's this beefy boy?
And perfect. perfect. Ricochet and Drew McIntyre reenacting Man Getting Hit by Football, starring Hans Moleman. And Groundskeeper Willie. Shout out to Simpsons wrestling memes for reenacting. There's a bit where Groundskeeper Willie is stuck out in the vents. You know, a dog falls on the vents on Superintendent Chalmers. Oh, Seymour, seeing this dog just melts my heart. All is forgiven. Make way for Willie! I said, make way for Willie, you bolted gas bag. And it was perfect storytelling, another full circle moment that Ricochet kicked Brock in the nuts. Because after last week on Raw, Brock totally bitched him out with a sack. It was so good. And finally, Brock's gone. And as soon as I saw Drew coming out to the ring, I'm like, there it is. There's the elimination spot. There it is. And it was perfect. The crowd was going nuts. Shout out to Dallas Thomas, who was there. I saw a bunch of his pictures. I'm jealous. I want to find out where the Rumble is and go next year. That'd be a fun event to watch live.
I think we'll have to do like a meetup, because I think that I've already done WrestleMania. That means I got 3 other ones I got to do. I got to do Rumble, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. I think next year should definitely be Royal Rumble, no matter where it is. Just gotta go see it.
I'm there. I would go see that before Mania, because I'm starting to think about. I want to go to Mania this year, but money.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saving up for Comic-Con right now too, and trying to pay off my student loans. When they're paid off, that's when I'll do Mania. I have a 3-year plan.
Fair enough.
So we have, Miz? I love that everyone in the crowd is getting involved with the 3, 2, 1 with the Claymore kick. He's becoming a great face. A little bit of storytelling here, kind of like a historic moment here with Ziggler, because they were the former tag team champions.
Right.
And then there's what I wrote down for Carl Anderson. Carl!
Carl, that kills people.
Too bad there wasn't someone here. Too bad Charlie Haas wasn't there. I would have been like, let's go to Candy Mountain, Charlie. Come on, get it with my kidney. Then I wrote down in large capital letters, Edge, Spear. Thanks, cameraman, for missing the first spear. Kevin Dunn, you idiot. AJ takes a really nice spear, but fortunately, he rolls over poorly on his shoulder. It got separated. He's out for a couple of months, but AJ claims he's going to be back at Mania. He's like, nope, that was my fault. I took the bump wrong. Edge, it's cool. And then,
Matt Riddle.
And his boy, Matt Riddle, he doesn't last long at all, but he hits a final flash on Edge, and I'm like, oh, your neck. Oh my gosh. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And there's all this rumor and innuendo about, Matt Riddle has backstage heat because he's talking shit about Lesnar. When Lesnar and Riddle had the confrontation, the cameras were rolling. But, Brock's just like, hey, keep me out of your mentions, kid, because you're not going to work together. So, I don't know what to say about that. I'm not Riddle. I don't work there. I can't say if he has heat or not. I don't buy it because he won the Dusty Cup. And I got Luke, Randall, and I loved when he was talking to Edge. He's like, oh, holy shit, look at you. They're good.
Right.
And the next night on Raw, if I can just sideberg here for a minute, did you get a chance to watch that promo?
Yeah, I did get a chance to watch the promo, and I know that Edge was very just tugging on the heartstrings, doing an absolutely incredible deal where he talks about coming back. It's just great. Then you got to see Orton basically do a little bit of like a shoot, where he basically just talks about the relationship that he and Edge have. That was great. Possibility of seeing Rated RKO back. Was that going to happen? Fretz did it?
Nope. He got the RKO. He got the chair. Once I saw him kind of go towards the corner, you're not going to punt him. You're bringing back the punt for this feud, which story-wise, I would be all for. But then he does like the neck and the chair spot. Like, okay, yeah, his neck's fine, but for the love of everything holy, I mean, you're not going to see me do that with my neck, with my fuse back. No. He thinks better of it. But then when he went for the 2 chairs, of course, Concerto. And like Jimmy Corderas had a little blurb about this on his Facebook page. He does like a ref and rant. It's like it's literally he's sitting there making coffee in the morning talking about it, and it's like, this is storytelling at its finest. They didn't go out and just bleh. He said it's real because of their history, and they didn't depend on high spots. It's like, this was emotion, this was storytelling, and Beth selling it on NXT at the beginning of NXT this week was just icing on the cake. She's just like, she's like crying. She's like, Adam told me to come into work. It's like, Randy, like basically saying fuck you to Randy. That Mania match is going to be amazing. And I love that we saw like the double RKO in this match. That just took me back to 2006. Awesome. Roman Reigns, KO with a stunner. Joe, Seth, Mr. Black. Seth dies. He eats every finisher in this match, and I love that this gives him a chance to eat all the finishers, because also this could give him something to bitch about down the line for a story. And then once I saw Roman as the second to last, I thought, okay, big dog, here we go. Oh, well, Drew. I think Drew was actually one of my picks, so it was awesome to see. Well deserved. Finally, like, he's the chosen one. 11 years later, I think his first run around, he says like, hey, I wasn't taking everything serious. Now I'm here. Now I'm doing it again. And now 3MB is going to be one guy away from world champion. Heath Slater versus Drew at SummerSlam. Let's go.
I would be honestly
triple threat.
Yes. Oh my God, it'd be the greatest triple threat since the Shield triple threat at Battleground. Oh, that would be amazing. I'd be all for it. So, all in all, aside from a couple hiccups here and there, I thought this was a really good Royal Rumble. I honestly loved both the Rumble matches. I liked what they did with the strap match. I did love the deal with Roman and King Corbin. It definitely did not happen. It didn't end in the ring, which I was thankful for. I'll tell you this. I actually made a bet with somebody where we were going by logic, basically stating, okay, well, WWE logic states that, Falls Count Anywhere, it's going to end in the ring. It's like, I'll bet you $1 that it doesn't. And we made the bet. I won $1. But then I lost that $1 because I think I bet that Edge was not going to spear Roman. And, yeah, he speared Roman. I'm like, it was worth it. It was worth it. I won the pool. I won the title. I got it was awesome. Yeah, no, I give this like 2 Thanos thumbs up. This was that good of a matchup. This was just that good of an event. I think that's the best way to describe it. Just 2 galactic thumbs up.
2 Thanos snaps. And I was going to say something else here, but it has left my head. I need my meds. Bruce, take your pills.
I know. Oh, I was going to say this because since I do have Game Changer of the week, honestly, I am still going to do this. It's Edge. Him coming back, well-deserved reception, well-deserved deal where he just... I mean, you look at the guy's career, and he has definitely been the epitome of the ultimate opportunist, somebody who has taken the ball, just thrown it across the field, ran over, caught it himself. He has done so much for this. You look at, like I said, his career. He had the deal where he started off with the Brood. He then went from there to go to his tag team deal with Edge and with him and Christian, which was phenomenal. They were undefeated in TLC matches for the first 3, Even though some people say, no, it was a triangle ladder match at WrestleMania 2000. Shut up. I call it a TLC match. I'll call whatever I damn well please. Then Edge started going on his own. He became Intercontinental Champion, became United States Champion. He would then go on to start building up his legacy. He was getting so close to a WWE Championship run, and unfortunately was when he had the whole neck injury deal. Then it really sucked for him because 2004 was just a really shitty year for him because he came back from the neck injury. He broke his hand. Then after the hand was healed, tore his groin. He literally was going from like one injury to another to another to another. And then we had him doing the whole deal where he turned heel. It was great. He won the Money in the Bank. He then cashed in on John Cena to win the WWE Championship, which again, we talked about that event. It was awesome. It was awesome just to relive that. God, it's hard to believe that was only like about a couple weeks ago, I think it was. Then we see, 10 more world titles later, feuding with guys like The Undertaker, Batista, Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, Kane, Rey Mysterio. The list just goes on and on and on of all these people that he had faced. And unfortunately, he had to call it a career and retire because of his injuries. We're just catching up to him. But obviously, there was a way for him to come back, and he did. And it's great to see that, even though some people are calling him a hobo. Gee, I wonder who that could be. He's a freaking sexy hobo. I'm going to say that right now. He is damn good. He looks damn good for a quote-unquote hobo.
He's a Viking.
He's Edge the Viking. Oh my gosh. Edge becomes the new leader of the Viking Raiders. I'm actually all for that. I am kind of for that now.
Makes sense.
They're the new Edgeheads. Oh my gosh. They're the new Edgeheads, and they feud with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. It's like, I got new friends now. Just literally, they get killed by the Viking Raiders. Oh my gosh. That just writes itself. But, like I said, Edge was already a game changer since, honestly, day one. And he just continued to build up the momentum. He continued to build up the legacy. And it's great to see that he is going to continue building up that legacy. Honestly, I could see him doing it for at least, I think they had him for like 3 more years. That's enough for me. 3 more years of Edge, and then I would call it a career for him. Does that mean he's going to win a world title? I don't know. I think he's going to definitely be one of those people that's going to be coming in, and he's going to be putting on some hellacious matches, whether it's with somebody that he knows in Randy Orton, or somebody that we would love to see in AJ Styles. Honestly, I think that there's a really good story you can tell between him and Seth Rollins. That would be cool. Because if you remember correctly, this was the guy who literally just said, what does it matter? I'm going to kill him anyway. It's like, I want to see Edge get redemption for that. I want to see Edge beat Seth Rollins for that. I just think it just writes itself. Which also means, hey, could we see Christian coming back? Never know. Honestly, like I said to her, I said I would love to see him come back for hashtag one more match. One more match. One more match. Rah, rah, rah. Christian's peeps. I went into a little Adam B there, whatever. But yeah, Edge is the game changer of the week, well deserved, and he has definitely left a legacy that's going to continue to flourish over these next few years.
Totally, I'm with you on that. That's a great pick. I was just perusing through. I have Edge's book. I got it so long ago that my house phone number in Cannington is in the inside of it.
Damn. You know what? I think I have his book too, and I actually read the entire deal, and it was an awesome book.
You know where I bought that book? WWE Niagara Falls.
Really?
Yeah. I went there, that place actually opened before New York. Huh. And it was just a retail store on the strip in Niagara. It's now home to a brewery, which the next time I'm at Niagara Falls Comic Con, I'm going to the brewery as well. I got to get my craft beer fixed. Yeah, folks. Some of you might not know this about me, but I'm a craft beer snob. So, if I ever go down to Wisconsin, you find me the hoppiest beer I can find. The hoppier, the happier.
You got it.
Now, the question This isn't the Stump the Chump one. This is just more of a question. We'll figure out a name for this, but...
Oh, shit, that's right. That's right. I did forget that you got a random question for the week.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it'll be that hard, but if you could Thanos snap one deceased wrestler and put it into this time in wrestling, just say in their prime, who would it be?
Ooh, bring them back, basically. That's a really tough one because I've really begun to just love Owen Hart's stuff. I started watching a lot of his stuff, and it's just absolute gold. His matches are great. His work on the mic is just phenomenal, and just his entertainment value is through the roof. But another person that kind of comes to mind when I think about this, Crash Holly. I just got to start looking at a lot of his stuff that he did with the hardcore title. Oh my God, was that just beautiful. If anybody could out-entertain R-Truth, it is Crash Holly. The guy doing his deal where he's in Funtime USA, or the classic deal where Gerald Briscoe's covering him while he's asleep. Just the classic 1, 2, 3, That's great. Oh my gosh. Man, I'm trying to think of like something. I think it's hard for me to pick one, but I'm definitely going to go with like top 5 people that definitely I would want to bring back. Another one that I would want to bring back, Ashley Massaro. This is a woman who was taken away from us too soon. She's an absolute sweetheart, and honestly, I would really love to see her back in the ring, and honestly, I think she would have a Hall of Fame career. Oh, another one who would have been really great, and who another person I would have loved to have go into the Hall of Fame on her own will, Chyna. Chyna's another one who I would have loved to have seen get maybe one more run, maybe one more chance. Maybe she feuds with so many of the women of today. I mean, can you just imagine the possibilities? It would just been absolutely fantastic to see that. I think number 5, pick anybody, Eddie Guerrero. This was a guy who, Eugene was one who definitely brought me into like the Raw side. Eddie was the one who brought me in the SmackDown side. This is a guy who was just entertaining, gifted in the ring, absolutely one of the top. He was a top tier talent. I will definitely say that he was a top tier human being. I'm willing to go that far. He is one of those guys who just has a smile that could never be just. You cannot not smile around Eddie. When he smiles, it's just hard. It's just infectious. You can't just be like angry at him, and when he smiles, still have that angry face. It's just like, damn it, Eddie. Why do you have to be so entertaining? Just be great. So those are kind of like the top 5 that I would love to have back. If I had to pick like one out of those 5 people, I would say Owen Hart, because I would love to have seen what he would have done with his career. How it would have just been really great to see him in the Hall of Fame, inducting his dad, inducting maybe his brother Brett when the time came, and then having his own induction, because this was a guy who again was taken from us way too soon, way too early, and he definitely deserves just so much. And I'm going to tell you this right now. He's probably having so many more dream matches than you could possibly imagine. I mean, already Owen Hart versus Eddie Guerrero, I will buy a ticket to that. When that day comes and I'm up in heaven, that is literally one of those things that I will be doing. It's like, hey, is there like a wrestling deal over there? And they'll just be like, oh yeah, it's right over here, and I will see on that card Eddie Guerrero versus Owen Hart. It's like, I will take that. How much for a ticket? Oh, they're free. Sweet.
Yeah, there's one thing I really liked about Shawn Michaels when he paid tribute to Eddie. He was just like, we were supposed to wrestle, but you know what? We're going to wrestle on the grandest stage of them all in front of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I'm like, that's awesome right there. It's, yeah, I can imagine all of them. And I can't pick. This is the question that I asked you, but Owen, and this is going to be controversial, but I want to imagine what a guy like Benoit would look like today. Take away what happened at the end, maybe even take away his friggin' flying headbutt or his brain trauma, but I always imagine what he would have been like today, say, against a guy like Johnny Gargano or Adam Cole or Cody Rhodes or... No, he probably wrestled Cody. Never mind.
Maybe.
Because he died in 07, and then Cody came in like 05, 06. Trying to think of who else that he would have been. Yeah, I can't think of any of them, but I immediately think of Owen Hart versus Kevin Owens is something that I would have loved to see. And if you want to hear about how I would book about Owen Hart, well, you're going to have to go into the Wrestlemania podcast back catalog. Cheap plug.
That was good. I will admit that was good. So I do want to share this because we definitely do talk about wrestling and social media, and we definitely do try to bring out more of the positives of social media. I will say this. I probably had one of the best 24 hours that I ever would have expected, because after the Royal Rumble took place, I put up some of the reaction videos that I had of reacting to like entrances and stuff like that, and one of the first ones that I had posted was the one where we were freaking out about Edge coming back. And ever since Sunday, I actually wanted to talk about this. This was amazing. Ever since then, that video, that 32-second video, has gotten 77.8K views, 6 comments, 127 retweets, and 1.3K in likes. And I'm going to tell you this right now, this was absolutely great. And just the amount of positivity that I got from some of these retweets from so many people. Some of them were saying, oh man, you guys are funny, you guys are great, that reaction is what we had, everything like that. Just so many great things. And there was even one guy, I think he was kind of joking, he's like, you grown-ass adults. And I just said, and your point being? Just literally like, well, yeah, what's the problem? It's kind of one of those things where I would just say, yeah, you have to remember the fact that people freak out about sports all the time. This is still technically considered a sport, so shut up. I absolutely thought was just great. Another one that I really loved was the fact that Chelsea Green, she loved the reaction that I had from her entry in the Royal Rumble. It was just great. I absolutely loved it. I think she like retweeted and had like a little laughing emoji and stuff like that. I even got like a freaking, like from, I think it was what was the name of her manager again? Like Robert Stone or something like that.
What was that?
What was the name of Chelsea Green's manager again? Was it Robert Stone or is it?
Yeah, it's Robert Stone.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so not that far from Robbie E. Good to know. So, following that up, earlier this week I did a tweet to one of my favorite people, Leva Bates. I said to at Wrestling Leva, I hope the rest of your day is as beautiful as you are. To which I also had the GIF where there's freaking Avalon. He's just being a jerk, and Leva's doing like the shushing deal, and she retweets us and in a quote says, "Hey, at P Avalon, this is how you properly compliment people. Don't give up. We'll keep working on it." And I replied to her. I replied to her saying, "You know what? This could be a YouTube series where we just sit down and try to get him to be like proper, but it just ends with us playing video games at the end." She gave that a like. She thought it was cute. See, I'm trying to think. Oh gosh, so the whole Chelsea Green thing happened. The Edge things happened. Anything that happened to Leva Bates is just great. And I think I literally said on social media, it's like life cannot get any better than this. Getting all this positive feedback, all this kind of stuff. I said it in a quote. I said, there was somebody who literally just saw this and said, hold my beer and watch this. Freaking Marty the Moth uploads his video from WrestleCon in New York. And I just see all of these great things that happen there. Where he, talks about his matches, where he talks about, the sightseeing, stuff like that. It actually starts with him getting a ride from Doo-Hop from GTS Wrestling. And I was just like, oh shit, that's Doo-Hop. That's cool. So I watched this. You see everybody that's getting, they're getting talked, they're getting all that kind of stuff. And then almost about halfway through, it might have been like 9-minute marker or something like that. I see this deal where he's showing the Lucha Underground Championship. That he shows a picture of his championship, but it has some very familiar logos to it. In which they look over, the shirt says #BeltBros, and yes, I got featured on that video. That was great. That was absolutely amazing. That was one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, this is just going to make my 2020. It could fully make my 2020, but at the same time, that could only... Yeah, I also have to remember the fact that I was also featured on the Demon Bunny deal when they showed like all the pictures and stuff like that, and even like in the top in the screen, you see the photo of me with Allie and with Rosemary, and I think they had like the flowers that I gave them. And I literally said, okay, next time we go around, I'm definitely want to do like some kind of reaction deal there. And I've already got something in mind next time I meet him. And I've already got something in mind next time I meet Leva Bates. So it's literally one of those things where it's like, I don't care if I don't meet every single person, but right now, I want to talk, I definitely do want to meet the people who have made wrestling so much fun for me. And right now, I think if I even have to, do I have to do it? Okay, fine, I'll do a top 5. Top 5 are Demon Bunny, which is Allie and Rosemary, Francine, SoCal Val, Leva Bates, Cody. A lot of them are women, but that's because mainly they have been really good to me. Some of the guys, yeah, they've been good. There's also been one guy who's been an asshole to me, but also you have to remember that that video that came out last year that I showed people again this past Sunday, that's going to be an afterthought after the whole reaction deal. And it's all thanks to my friend Nick, who literally has this face of just like his soul is almost just getting pulled out of his body because he's shocked to see Edge in the Royal Rumble. It was just great, and it was absolutely tremendous. And I did get the chance to upload the reaction videos for the entrances. So for those of you that are kind of wondering what the rest of them were kind of like, definitely check them out on the YouTube page. It's going to be in the description here. Definitely check that out. It's going to be awesome. It's just awesome. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check out everybody's podcast, whether it's the Young Lions Perspective or the Kings of the Rings podcast, along with ourselves at Wrestle Addict Radio. We have a lot of fun with this. Definitely support us on Patreon, because without you guys, we're just a bunch of people that are just talking, rambling about everything. We cannot do this without you guys, and we have so much more that are coming in 2020. This year, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I can't think of anybody better to join with me, even if he's not at 100% right now, that being you, Mr. Fretz. Hopefully, the next time that we meet up, you're definitely in better spirits as well as in better health.
Yeah, thanks, bro. It's just something's a little bit coming on right now. I think it's more of a stuffy and a fever right now, but nice big glass of water, a little bit of shot of whiskey, and I'll hit the sack. I'll be fine. And as spirits, like I'm doing good. As I said, thanks everyone for the condolences for my aunt. So far there's not been a service planned. I don't know what's going to happen there. My Aunt Barb was kind of like the type who, he's like, you don't need to make a big fuss kind of deal. Like she was very humble. So it's. Yeah, I'm good, but thank you very much, and everybody else. I'll polish off some water, and that'll be that.
There we go. So we are almost running at the 2.5 hour marker, but we knew that this was going to be a very eventful show when we were talking about the Royal Rumble. So thank you guys for listening into this. Hopefully you enjoyed all of our rants, our ramblings, our good times. Everything that we talked about this past weekend is absolutely great. For those of you that are in the Wisconsin area, I will be showing up for ACW Falls Count Anywhere. That'll be taking place at Tanner's Bar in Oshkosh, I believe. I think it's in Kimberly, if I'm not mistaken. I could be 100% wrong. It will be in the Oshkosh area, so definitely check that out. Definitely check out tickets. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic show. Already, like I mentioned, the Falls County Anywhere match between Nathan Gus and Salem Crane is going to be great. You have Stacy Shadows taking on Swoggle. That's going to be another great matchup. Nick Colucci taking on Backwoods Brown, as well as Joey Avalon taking on Adam Grace for the ACW Water City Championship. I'm looking forward to this, and I'm wondering if Adam Grace has it in him to win back the Water City title. We'll just have to kind of wait and see how it goes. Honestly, I think Joey's got a little bit of an advantage, but I'm looking forward to this matchup. It's going to be great. That's also going to be happening the same time of the Oscars, so within the next week, you can definitely expect me to do an Oscars prediction show. Maybe I will do that on the Saturday before. It might be a solo one. I might have somebody come on. We'll see about that. But that's what's coming up in the future here. Definitely, if you get a chance, check out Fretz's podcast, whether it's Wrestlemania or any of the other stuff that we've done on Wrestle Addict Radio. We're available on Anchor, Spotify, iHeartRadio, amongst so many other great podcasting networks. Honestly, it's going to be just an absolutely tremendous 2020. It's going to get bigger and better from there. Check him out, like I said, on Twitter, at the legendary JF. I do apologize for the fact that we didn't get a chance to do any hashtag Pro Talk Wrestling tweets this week, but we just had so much to talk about that I just don't think we had the time. You can follow me on Twitter at RealFNGame. My goal is to get back to hitting 2,000 people as followers on Twitter. If you do that, I promise you guys I will do a bit of a crazy video on YouTube, and I'll even have you guys help me decide what my quote-unquote either punishment will be or what I should do for this celebration. So let's get it back to 2,000, find other ways to get some more people to follow, and honestly, I'm just thankful that it's not a bunch of robots, because that's probably one of the reasons why the followership went down. Either that or some other weird thing. If you can, please just remember to stay positive, you guys. We've had so much negativity in this world, whether it's in wrestling or in real life. We got to stay positive. We definitely need to build each other up, not bring each other down. So whether it's just saying pretty lady, whether it's just saying you're beautiful, or whether it's just saying, hey, nice shoes, or something like that, compliments go a long way. Also, I just want to state for the fact that there's some people that say that I need my eyes checked. I'm totally fine. Thank you very much. I can see anything from there. I can even see that blue blur over there. Wait a minute. No, I'm kidding. So, oh my God, it's the freaking Blue Man Group. No, I'm kidding. Gosh, that'd be another scary way to deal. I'm already past the whole thing that we were talking about earlier, but Blue Man Group just in your room, just nope.
Arrested Development.
No. Okay, I think that I was saved by the bell, or saved by the Fretz in this case. Oh man, so thank you guys so much for tuning into this podcast. He's been Mr. Fretz. I've been NateFNGreat. We are enjoying the road to WrestleMania. Who knows what this road is going to lead to? Who knows where this road is going to take us? But in all honesty, I think it's going to take us to the promised land. That being, hopefully, a Drew McIntyre victory. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Testicles.
Damn it.